competitors have thrown or jumped. For example, as I look away to my left now in the seated javelin competition, Mina Corte of Colombia is showing on the screen. It says Act 1, attempt number 1. There's a blank space in the bottom right corner of that scoreboard, which will flash up her distance when she throws very shortly. The seated throwing competitions are slightly different to the rest in that each competitor takes all of their throws in one go. Normally, of course, for example, in the Olympic Games, the athletes will go in rotation, taking one throw each. In the seated competitions, because of the practicalities of getting competitors into the right position in their throwing frames or their wheelchairs, each competitor takes each of their attempts one after the other, then they move out and the next competitor moves in. What also happens is after 3 throws, there are 6 rounds in total in the throwing and jumping competitions, and after 3 of those, the field is reduced to the top 8, who then throw in reverse order with the furthest thrower going last.
T54.
Back to the track we go, and the wheelchair competitors in position for the second semi-final in the women's 800 T54. The fastest in the field is the Swiss athlete in lane number 2, Manuela Scher. Gunilla Wallengren of Sweden, Zhu Lihong of China, Patricia Mustafa of Mauritius, Amanda Kotaja of Finland, Christina Schwab of the USA, and Kira Lynn Free of Canada make up this. There are 7 competitors, and once more the first 2 in each heat will qualify. They're positioned away to our right. As I'm sat, by the way, my commentary position is at the back of the lower tier, and I'm 20 metres short of the finish line in the home straight, looking with the sun just up to my right-hand side on the far side of the stadium. So away the athletes go, a particularly slow start in lane 5 from Mustafa of Mauritius, who was rather left on the start line there. We'll be keeping an eye on lane 2. Manuela Scher has made a very fast start and has already gone past Wallengren of Sweden on the far side, as the athletes reach the 200-metre mark now and break from their lanes in this 800-metre event. And it is Scher of Switzerland who leads in these early stages. Also right up there is Zhu Lihong of China as they come round the far side with 600 metres to go, going past the 200-metre start. The scoreboard is tracking the athletes as they swing round that far side and come into the home straight now, almost in single file. The athlete who has been left rather behind is about 80 metres behind the rest is Mustafa of Mauritius. As they come towards the finish line for the first time with a lap to go, and it's Zhu of China who leads, with Scher of Switzerland in second place.
And Kira-Lynn Frey of Canada in third.
And it's Frey of Canada in a black outfit who is in third. Then it's Wallengren of Sweden in yellow.
And give the athlete coming down the home straight now a cheer.
As they swing round with Christina Schwab of the USA, third from last at this stage. And Kotaja of Finland at the back of the field as the trailing athlete Mustafa of Mauritius just crosses the line now with 1 lap to go. But they're halfway down the back straight now and in single file, and it's still Zhu of China who leads from Manuela Scher. Only the first 2 automatically qualify, remember. A move being made round the outside by Gunilla Wallengren of Sweden, who's gone up into third now. They come round into the home straight now. 100 metres left to go in this 800-metre heat, and it's Scher who comes out on the outside to challenge the Chinese athlete and long-time leader Zhu of China. They are wheel to wheel as they come down towards the finish line now, and it's going to be Zhu of China who will win by around about 1 chair length from Scher in second place, and Wallengren of Sweden just getting through for third ahead of Kira-Lynn Frey of Canada.
156.36. Still 1 competitor.
156.36, so that race nearly 9 seconds slower than the previous heat. So the chances of the fastest losers coming from that heat are probably relatively slim. The applause is for Patricia Mustafa of Mauritius, who herself now away to my left is swinging round into the home straight as the sun really intensifies and pops out from behind the clouds on the far side. Huge ovation for Patricia Mustafa of Mauritius, who has 50 metres to go as she completes the women's 800-metre T54 heat number 2.
Patricia Mustafa from Mauritius.
A personal best, by the way, for Kotaja of Finland, 2 minutes .73, coming home 6th of the 7 competitors. So the third and final heat for that women's 800-metre T54 will take place shortly as our games makers step into position on the side of the track in one long line and step forward to replace the starting blocks, which are pink with white lettering and numbering on them.
Competitors for the next final to start, the men's long jump F11.
This is the visually impaired long jump where they've asked for
Please
stadium silence.
From the United States, the silver medalist from Beijing, the world record holder Lex Gillette. My apologies, we started the other way around this morning. Ruslan Kachiev of the Ukraine that was. Please welcome from China, Li Duan.
Li Duan is the defending champion in this visually impaired long jump. All the athletes will compete blindfolded with guides giving them acoustic signals.
Record holder, Bentria Firas.
A wave of the arms from both Bentria of Algeria and his guide, who makes a V for victory salute to the camera.
Next,
on the big screen.
Welcome from Russia, has a lifetime best of 5.78 meters, Denis Gulin.
Denis Gulin steps forward in a rather wild blue tracksuit with all sorts of white patterning on it, has his blindfold currently hanging around his neck.
Medal in Beijing 4 years ago, Athanios Barakis.
Bronze medalist from 2008.
Jumping seventh, the Spanish record
Athanassios Barakis of Greece.
Please welcome Martin Parejo Maza. Jumping in sixth place will be the American number 2, Tanner Gers. Jumping fifth from Sweden, please welcome Rickard Stratt.
Rickard Stratt jumping up and down in front of the camera, applauding the crowd, taking in the atmosphere.
Please welcome from Thailand, Jakit Punthong.
Jakit Punthong places his palms together, his fingers pointing to the sky, and bows towards the camera.
Please welcome the silver medalist from 2004, Xavier Porras. Please welcome from Russia, lifetime best of 5.97, Andrei Koptev. And finally, please welcome once again the world record holder, silver medalist from Beijing, Lex Gillette from the United States.
Lex Gillette from the United States, Beijing silver medalist, the world bronze medalist at 200 meters as well, opting to compete in the long jump here rather than the 200 meters, the heats of which are later on this morning. So 12 competitors, they will jump in the reverse order to that which they've just been announced, and that taking place on the far side. They will run from right to left as I look, with the long jump pit over in the sort of top left corner of the stadium on the opposite side of the track. If you're sat in the sun at the moment, you won't need me to tell you that it is absolutely beating down up away to our right hand side. 20 degrees Celsius, the track thermometer electronically shows just down halfway along the home straight. If you have just recently arrived in the stadium, the empty white seats are filling up all the time. We're getting close to full capacity now. A welcome to our audio description service for this Paralympic Athletics Tuesday morning session.
So
my name's Chris Temple, guiding you through the action.
Round in the F11 long jump.
Just being up to date with the official result, by the way, from that second heat of the women's 800-meter T54. Zhu of China 156.36 and Manuela Scher of Switzerland 156.60. They are two automatic qualifiers. So far, Jade Jones does seem to be in the third fastest loser spot, which could be enough to get her through in that competition. We will wait to see, with one more heat still to go, but Jade Jones' mark of 156.16 so far, because the second heat was so slow, almost 9 seconds slower, that mark at the moment has Jade Jones as the third fastest loser. three fastest losers, in fact 2 fastest losers, my apologies, go through. So Jay Jones is not going to make it because 2 people have already gone faster than her, Deanne Roy and Christy Dawes. So Jay Jones, unfortunately, not going to make it through in the women's 800 metre T54. So as I look away to my right, the games makers walk off with their clear plastic containers containing the athletes' kit. They file off down away to my right underneath the tunnel. And now we settle down for the start. Just 6 competitors for this final heat of the women's 800 metre T54. The stadium has gone into silence because we're having our first competitor going in the men's F11 long jump. You may remember the stadium commentators earlier and asking for complete silence because of the nature of the visual impairment. The athletes do rely on acoustic signals from their guides, and therefore if you do hear the stadium fall completely silent, it will be because somebody is taking a jump on the far side. Athletes being introduced for T54 800 metres heat number 3.
The track this morning, the 5,000 metre Paralympic champion Edith Wolf of Switzerland.
Stand by for a Great Britain roar. There's a British athlete on the big screen.
In lane 6, if you look up at the giant screen, a big welcome please for Great Britain's Shelley Woods.
So a pretty high-class field this for Shelley Woods to try and negotiate her way through in this T54 800 metres. The 5,000 metre gold medalist and the 400 metre bronze medalist Edith Wolf going in her 3rd event. Shelley Woods from Lytham St Anne's up on the Lancashire coast, who was 5th in this event in Beijing 4 years ago. Just outside her, she's got the 400 metre silver medalist from here in London. That's Dong Hongjiao of China. It's the 800 metres, so 2 laps of the track, and again the first 200 metres they go in lanes and they break on the far side. The Union Jack is really fluttering, probably about as vigorously as I've seen it over the last couple of days. Probably fluttering at an angle of about 60 degrees now if you take the line from pointing downwards to the floor. Away they go then, a good start from Bataz of Mexico in lane number 2, who's gone past Edith Wolf in the early stages. Weber of the USA, Meibel of Denmark completing this lineup for those we haven't mentioned so far. But now Edith Wolf is starting to get her wheels going on the far side, and she now has picked up from quite a slow start and has opened up a 5 metre lead in these early stages. Great Britain Shelley Woods currently in 4th position, about 10 metres off the league, and it's Dong Hongjiao of China who's gone into 2nd place. As the athletes pass the 200 metre start, the Union Jacks are waving for the first time really vigorously down that far side. The spectators warming up just as the athletes are starting to intensify the action on the track as well. They come into the home straight then, and they'll take the bell on this occasion, and it is Edith Wolf of Switzerland who leads Dong of China by about 5 metres. Shelley Woods clear in 3rd place at the moment, about 5 metres behind. Then comes the Mexican athlete Bataz as they cross the line now, followed by Amberlynn Weber and Marion Meibel bringing up the rear at the moment. Shelley Woods has got a bit of work to do here to make herself an automatic qualifier in the top 2. She'll keep her eye though on the times that were set. To try and sneak through as a fastest loser. They go down the back straight, halfway down the back straight, and Shelley Woods is closing on Dong down the far side. She's got that gap down to about 3 or 4 metres now as they come round with 200 metres to go, but the comfortable leader is still Switzerland's Edith Wolf, looking to feature on the medal podium for a 3rd time. Gold in the 5,000, bronze in the 4,000. She's coming round in the inside lane with 100 metres to go. Shelley Woods is still closing the gap on Dong of China. She's about 3 metres down now as they come up towards the line. A comfortable win for Edith Wolf, who comes up to the line now. She will win by a good 15, 20 metres, 1:53.12. Dong in 2nd place. Shelley Woods takes 3rd.
It's going to be close.
Shelley Woods is there or thereabouts at about 1:56, which is going to make her right in the shake-up for a fastest loser. But Edith Wolf, 1:53.13, is the automatic qualifier. Dong of China, 1:55.92, the 2nd automatic qualifier. Shelley Woods has posted 1:56.39, and by my early calculations, that means she's not going to make it through, I don't think, as a fastest loser, because Deanne Roy and Christy Dawes have gone faster. That is just assembling the information I've got on the screen in front of me. The applause is for Shelley Woods popping up on the screen in third place.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're being absolutely brilliant in terms of staying silent.
We'll confirm that news on Shelley Woods just as soon as we get it, but my early indications are from the computer screen in front of me that Shelley Woods is probably going to miss out on a place as a fastest loser in the women's 800 metres T54.
Lex Gillette of the United States.
Once more, our games makers just to our right walk out with their blocks and place them down, because our next track athletics will also start
and we await with interest
away to our right, in the same place the 800 metres has just been starting, because it's the men's 400 metre T46 coming up next, which is for athletes with their arms affected by impairment
of that women's 800 metres, and unfortunately it looks as though Shelley Woods has not made it through. We've had an Asian record by Liu of China, and there's Shelley Woods down in 9th place, and Jade Jones of Great Britain was actually a little bit faster, and she just missed out on a place as well.
So that confirmed by Paul Dickinson on the stadium PA there, that both Shelley Woods and Jade Jones not making it through as fastest losers, unfortunately, in the women's 800 metres T54. Qualifiers: McFadden of the USA, Liu of China, Wolf of Switzerland, Dong of China, Roy of Canada, Dawes of Australia, Zhu of China, and Manuela Scher of Switzerland. The applause is for one of our long jumpers taking his jump on the far side. The first two jumps that have been posted, by the way, Lex Gillette of the USA, world record holder, 5 metres 98 in the opening round. And it's Xavier Porras of Spain, who has just jumped, taking his opening round jump on the far side. He's the third competitor to jump. Just waiting for his distance to flash up on the screen on the far side.
Her time, 156.16, was only 200ths of a second outside of a qualifying place for the final.
Just a slight delay measuring the distance for Xavier Porras on the far side. It's slower than usual, popping up on the electronic scoreboard on the far side. We'll do our best to keep you in touch. We do have 3 field events going concurrently here. The men's long jump F11, which is on the far side, of course. Just down to my left, we have the men's javelin throw for seated competitors, and the men's shot put taking place away to my right as well, also for seated competitors. $5 metres 67, by the way. 5 metres 89, rather, I should say, for Porras of Spain. That distance eventually
jump indeed
coming
by
up.
Xavier Porras of Spain, 5 metres 89. He's in second place.
A couple of throwers have already gone in the men's javelin throw. We mentioned earlier on the world champion Abdul Reza Jokar of Iran. He's gone over 20 metres with his second throw. Remember, all the competitors taking 3 throws each all the way down the field, and then the field is reduced to 8, and they then throw in reverse order depending on how far they threw in the first round. 20 metres and 1, the leading mark from Abdul Reza Jokar of Iran in these early stages. And in the men's shot put F57 and F58 category, we're coming towards the end. In fact, we are on our 9th competitor out of 18, so we're coming to the end of the first page anyway of my computer screen of results so far. And the current leader is Alexei Ashapatov, who is the defending champion, and he has thrown 15 metres 95. I haven't mentioned the classification point system yet for field events. All of our field events at the moment, the javelin and the shot put at least going on, are mixed classification. That's where 2 classifications compete together, because there aren't enough competitors to warrant an event of their own. Now, obviously, it's not fair to have athletes of different classifications, therefore different levels of impairment, all competing together. So rather than it being necessarily the person who jumps the furthest or throws the furthest who wins, what happens is an algebraic formula which has been determined over a number of years called RASA is applied by the officials to each throw, and therefore they score points for their throw rather than it being judged on distance. Rather like in the decathlon and the heptathlon in the Olympic Games, where athletes collect points for how fast or how far they run or throw. The same thing applies here in our mixed classification field events. Only applies to those where different classifications are grouped together.
The gold medalist in the 200 meters.
For example, the single classification events like the long jump taking place, which is only F11, that is judged solely on distance. It's only the point system in operation where there are different classifications and therefore different levels of impairment all competing together.
And Matzinger.
So the lineup on the track for the men's 400 metre T46,
go through to the final,
which is for those with arm impairments, and the ones to keep an ear out for here are for the 200 metre champion from Brazil, Johansen Nascimento of Brazil. We also have the Beijing silver and bronze medalists, Antonis Aresti of Cyprus and Samuel Colmenares of Venezuela, who also go in this heat as well. There are 7 competitors. Kotlov of Russia on the inside, Colmenares of Venezuela in lane 3, Aresti of Cyprus in 4, Lopez Cardozo of Guinea-Bissau, which is a West African country, neighbouring Senegal and Guinea, Nascimento of Brazil in lane 6, Shi of China in lane 7, and Matzinger of Austria on the outside in lane number 8. The athletes start from blocks and from the crouching position in this T46 category. Lane 1 is vacant, as it has been for quite a few of the events of this Paralympic Games so far, and indeed for the Olympic Games last month as well. Athletes starting just underneath the Olympic cauldron, which burns brightly just above them away to our right. And there goes the gun, and they're away in this first of 2 heats. The first 3 qualified, plus the 2 fastest losers. And because this is a 400 metres, as I mentioned earlier on, the whole lap of the race is run in lanes. And down the far side, it is Johansen Nascimento, who has made the early running, made a great start in lane 6. He's gone tearing away, and he has 200 metres to go. He's in the bold green of Brazil, and it is Nascimento of Brazil who comes around with 150 metres to go. A good run from Matzinger of Austria on the outside, and Xi of China right up there as well, along with Lopez Cardoso, as they come forward now towards the 50-metre to go point, and it's Johansen Nascimento who's looking left and right and suddenly sees athletes closing on him. Gunther Matzinger of Austria is going to take him on the line here. Gunther Matzinger of Austria wins it. Johansen Nascimento easing down in second place, and Colmenares of Venezuela finishing in third, but it's Matzinger who takes the first automatic qualification spot. I think Johansen Nascimento halfway down the home straight thought he had that one absolutely sewn up, and had to suddenly put an extra bit of a spurt on as he looked left and right and saw athletes closing on him from both sides. But it is Gunther Matzinger with 49.91, just outside his personal best of 49.23, who takes the first automatic qualification spot. Stadium falls silent for next of our long jumpers on the far side. Guide athlete begins his applause on the far side, and the competitor sprints down the runway, takes off well. The board, by the way, is probably about 3 times the size of a normal white long jump board, which is probably, if you stretch your hand out width-wise, that would give you approximately the width of a long jump board. The board for the visually impaired competitors, obviously, is probably 3 or 4 times as big. Therefore, the margin for error, quite obviously and quite rightly, is a little bit greater for our athletes with the most serious visual impairment. Just to bring you up to date with what's happening so far in that long jump competition, that was Tana Jers of the USA just taking that jump on the far side. The leading mark so far is the 5.98, which was posted with the very first jump of the competition by Lex Gillette, the world record holder. The world record, by the way, is 6 metres 73. Tana Jers coming up at 5 metres and 24, which leaves him in 6th place so far. So our next action on the track as the next long jumper prepares to take his jump on the far side. This is Martin Parayomo Mazza of Spain, who's just jumped into the pit. Athletes starting to prepare just away to our right for the second heat of the men's 400 metre T46. This time 6 competitors start. Athletes starting to limber up away to my right as the Spanish athlete Parejo Maza is helped out of the pit by his guide after an excellent jump.
That was Martin Parejo Maza of Spain with his first round jump.
Update from the men's javelin. The best so far in terms of point score is the 875 points of Abdul Raza Jakar. The distance he threw was 20 meters 01, and making his final preparations to throw next from the Czech Republic, the European record holder, Ales Kissy.
The infield starting to get busier now, certainly around the edges, as the athletes are now starting to take their warm-up throws for the F37 women's shot put, which is for those with cerebral palsy, the lowest level of impairment, or one of the lower levels of impairment in that category. The athletes in their tracksuits taking practice throws, and there is British interest in that competition as well, with Beverly Jones, who is on paper the third furthest thrower with 10 meters 29, so she has an outside chance of a medal. She's up against the gold and bronze medalists from Beijing 4 years ago. Here Beverly introduced to the crowd, I'm sure, in the not too distant future. Athanasios Barakas of Greece is striding down the long jump runway in the blue kit of his country on the far side. He's jumped around about 4 meters or so. Pretty happy with that. Brushes the sand away from the legs of his Greek kit.
Over in the long
and
jump,
gets a handshake and a high five from his guide.
Of Greece with his first round jump. We'll keep a close eye on the distance displayed on the scoreboard.
And Barakas' guide moving out of the way right at the last minute there. The guides on some occasions stand on the board, the takeoff board, facing their athletes, giving them the acoustic signals either by voice or hand clapping. And then on that occasion, Barakas' guide moved out the way, literally at the very last second. He stepped to his left out of the way to allow Barakas to complete his jump.
T46.
Athletes being introduced for the second semi-final of the men's 400 meter T46.
And Micalo Souza of Brazil, another very fine Brazilian athlete. He has been under 50 seconds. That came last year. The rest of the athletes there, Mabunya of Rwanda, Souza, Kimu, Bebe.
So the full lineup for this T46 heat on the inside is Hermas Muvunyi of Rwanda. Emikalo Souza is the fastest in the field. He's the only one to go under 50 seconds of Brazil, lane 4. Ado Kimo of the Ivory Coast in 5. Shepo Baby of South Africa in 6. Yao Jianjun of China in 7. And Ugaldina Patiranahalag of Sri Lanka in lane 8 on the outside. First 3 go through, past the next 2 fastest losers. Sun again pops out from behind some of the white scattered clouds above us in this blue sky above the Olympic Stadium here in East London. Away they go then in the second and final semi-final of this men's 400 meter T46, and a good start in the bright orange shorts of the athlete from the Ivory Coast, Adu Kimu, who's up on the South African Bebe on the outside, who's running in almost yellow trousers, yellow lycra trousers. Good run on the outside so far from the Sri Lankan athlete Patira Analhag, and he could well be the leader at this early stage as they come round with 150 metres to go. The Sri Lankan on the outside, Patira Analhag, but on the inside coming through in lane 4, Souza of Brazil right up with him, and on the inside as well from Rwanda, Hermas Muvunyi in white is leading at the moment now. He's come through to take the Brazilian. Fast finishing athlete Kimu from the Ivory Coast. Going to be very close on the line here between the leading 2, and it's Muvunyi of Rwanda who gets there from Patiranahalag of Sri Lanka in second place. Close for third between Bebe, between Souza of Brazil and Kimu of the Ivory Coast. But a good run for Hermas Rwanda.
It is a new African record for the winner of semi-final number 2.
Confirmed there, a new African record for Hermas Muvunyi of Rwanda, who ducks under 50 seconds for the first time in his career. Takes half a second off his personal best. Patiranahalag of Sri Lanka takes the second automatic qualification spot. Stadium full silent for an ex-jumper in the long jump competition. That is Denis Gulen of Russia. And that's a good jump from Denis Gulen. That's getting up close to the 5-meter mark, I think. Wait for that to be officially confirmed very shortly. Also
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
automatic qualifiers
for the women's shot put F37. Introducing the lineup, representing the Czech Republic, the reigning European champion, Eva Bernard. Representing Latvia, ranked 5th in the world this year, Higa Kanteina. Representing Ukraine, European bronze medalist, Victoria Yasevich. Ranked number 7 in the world this year, representing Latvia, Liena Grzyte. And throwing 5th, representing Great Britain, the European silver medalist, Bev Jones. Throwing 6th, the defending Paralympic champion, representing China, Mi Na. Representing Venezuela, ranked 6th in the world this year, Yumaira Cohen. Representing China, the lifetime best of 9 meters 83, Jia Jiang. Representing Brazil, world bronze medalist, Charlene Coelho. And completing the lineup, the world silver medalist, representing China, Xu Xiuping. The lineup for the women's shot put F37 final.
And the F37 classification for athletes with cerebral palsy. This classification they throw from a standing position. Mentioned earlier, is one of the lower levels of impairment. 38 is the lowest level of impairment for athletes with cerebral palsy. 37, obviously the one classification below that. Just to confirm the qualifiers from that last men's 400-meter heat, by the way. Mavunyi of Rwanda, Patarila Hanalag of Sri Lanka, and Kimu of the Ivory Coast, the 3 automatic qualifiers for the final. Stadium full silent again for our next long jumper over on the far side of the arena. And that is Bentria of Algeria taking his first jump. The last jump, by the way, by Gulen of Russia was a foul.
Bentria of Algeria, another man who's jumped over 6 meters during his career, taking his first round jump.
Leader in the javelin, by the way, with our 4th thrower, currently taking his set of 3 throws, is still Jokar of Iran, the 42-year-old who leads with his second round throw of 20.01.
We have Xavier Porras of Spain,
and the men's shot put F57 and 58 for seated competitors. The current leader in that is Boro Radenovic of Croatia, who's thrown 11 meters 67. That's worth 767 points. In fact, Alexei Ashapatov of Russia has thrown 15 meters 95, a season's best, so he is in the lead in the men's shot put F57 and 58. Also worth pointing out that in the mixed classification events, such as the men's shot put F57 and 58, athletes can only set new records in their own classification. So, for example, Alexei Ashapatov of Russia is an F58 competitor, so therefore any records that he would set would be an F58 record only, rather than a combined record. He has the F58 record already at 16 meters 37. Just for comparison purposes, the F57 world record is 14 meters 28. So a 2 meter difference between the two world records for F57 and 58, which tells us exactly why we have the RASA points tariff system to ensure a level playing field. A couple of photographers move into position on the outside of the shot put throwing sector. Just away to my right, they crouch down in position, they plant their cameras down in the grass with a long tripod, and they are ready for this shot put final to hot up, including Beverly Jones from Great Britain. We've got a warm reception, as you heard a few moments ago. I'll tell you a little bit more about Beverly Jones. She is from Deeside in Flintshire, trains at the Gloucester Athletics Club, and this is her 4th Paralympics. She competed in Sydney in 2000, Athens in 2004, and Beijing in 2008. She took the silver medal in both the shot put and the discus at this year's European Championships, which took place in Holland. Also won a silver medal in the discus at the World Championships last year. Never taken a medal in the Paralympics. Her best finish, a 4th place finish in the shot. That came in Athens in 2004. She also represents Wales at cricket, does Beverly Jones from Flintshire in Wales. And she will be taking her first throw very shortly.
Qualifiers for the final of the men's T46 400 metres displayed on the scoreboard.
Can confirm the qualifiers now for the men's 400 T46. Mavunyi of Rwanda, Patara Halalag of Sri Lanka, Matsinga of Austria, Kimu of the Ivory Coast, Nascimento of Brazil, Aresti of Cyprus, Souza of Brazil, and Shi of China. They're the 8 qualifiers for the final.
The first 3 in each heat, and the next 2 fastest through to the final. And there, in lane 4, please would you welcome the reigning world champion from the United Arab Emirates, Mohamed Hamadi.
There'll be a British roar in this one as well. I mentioned we have 5 female GB athletes. Our solitary male GB athlete competing this morning is this man,
Jamie Carter.
Jamie Carter from Market Raisin in Lincolnshire. It's his Paralympics GB debut, his first major competition, and he is just 18 years of age. Jamie Carter, he goes in lane 5 for this 200 metres as they start on the far side of the track, to the left-hand end of the track as I look. They round one bend and then come into the straight. It's run completely in lanes, this event, and away they go. He's got Roosh of the Netherlands and Hamadi, the world record holder, just inside him from the United Arab Emirates as they come round in towards the home straight now. And it is Hamadi of the UAE, as expected, who is leading them into the home straight. On the outside, Bojan Mitic of Switzerland, and on the inside, Stefan Roosh of the Netherlands, but streaking away, Mohamed Hamadi of the UAE, the world record holder, will win this by about 5 metres or so. The Swiss athlete will come second, Mitic. Jamie Carter of GB finishing in 5th position in that one. Fast finish from Stefan Roosh of the Netherlands on the inside as well. The comfortable qualification for Mohamed Hamadi. The first 3 in each heat go through, plus the next 2 fastest losers, and a new Paralympic record of 29.03 for Mohamed Hamadi of the USA, taking 0.14 seconds off the previous mark set back in Sydney in 2000. So a 12-year-old Paralympic record has gone to Mohamed Hamadi. Mitic of Switzerland second, and it was Austin Pruitt of the USA who got up to get 3rd on the outside. A personal best for Roosh in 4th, and a personal best too for Jamie Carter in 5th, 30.85. Final of that event, by the way, is tonight, so if you do have tickets for this evening, you're very lucky, and you will see that event come to its climax. Also worth pointing out tonight, whether you're going to be here or whether maybe at home listening in or watching in, but also in action tonight is a certain David Weir, who will go for his 2nd gold in the men's 1500 metres. That due off just after 9:30 this evening.
And up on the board, you will see that the lead in the women's shot is currently held by Mi Na, with a new F37 world record of 12 metres 20. First time, I believe, that she's been over 12 metres. She's improved her own world record in the very first round.
So a new world record, as you heard there, from Mi Na of China, 12.20. Just to bring you up to date with Great Britain's Beverly Jones. Her first throw was 8 metres 10:58, which is a good couple of metres down on her season's best of
10
metres 29. So Beverly Jones hopefully will improve on that as the next rounds go through. 6 throws each as well in the women's shot put. The field reduced to 8 after the first 3 rounds. At the moment, Beverly Jones lying in 5th place. In that there are 10 competitors in all, so just 2 athletes will miss out on the final 3 throws. Athletes just feeling themselves round in warm-up for the next heat of the men's 200 metres as they complete a warm-up lap away to my right. Again, the stadium falls silent for the men's long jump. Far side of the arena, the F11 category, those with visual impairment. Is the leader, the world record holder, Lex Gillette of the USA, who is preparing to jump. In fact, he's had his lead taken away right at the end of that first round by Katishev of the Ukraine, who's jumped a massive 6:46. He leads after the first round. They're just beginning the second round in the men's long jump. Just a reset for Lex Gillette, who just straight off the runway on his first attempt. So his guide now just repositioning him in position on the centre of the runway.
Lex Gillette is now ready.
This is a
second round about to begin.
Much practiced technique, much honed with the use of their guide, of course. And Lex Gillette now will look to improve on his 5:98, which currently has him in second place. He's 48 centimetres down. His guide, in Illumis yellow, starts a vigorous clapping routine now, and Gillette steams up towards the board, takes off nicely. That looks a big jump from Lex Gillette, and he clenches his fist in celebration there. Unfortunately, he's got a red flag. It's a no jump.
Excellent jump by Lex Gillette, the world record holder.
Just stepping over the board, unfortunately for him. That was over 6 metres. Just planting his foot in the plasticine, unfortunately, which is the marker to give the judge the exact information as to whether the athlete has overstepped the board or not. So rather than it be a matter of just their eyesight, there is a plasticine strip on the pit side edge of the board. If there is a mark in the plasticine, then it is deemed a foul. And unfortunately for Gillette, that was the case on that occasion. He fouls in the second round, but still lies in second place. And next on the runway will be Andrei Koptev of Russia, who's jumped 5:67 so far, and he currently lies in 5th place. That's his season's best, as a big sign pops up on the electronic scoreboard in orange saying "Quiet for the athlete, please." As Koptev hits the board nicely, that's probably just around about the 5-metre mark for Alexei Koptev of Russia. Athletes meanwhile getting themselves in position over at the 200-metre start as a couple of purple and pink parasols pop up in our field event areas. The sun is intensifying down trackside, and as such the officials have just elevated 4 pink and purple parasols to shelter the athletes when they're sitting down waiting between throws. They're sat in the shade underneath those parasols, which are at the left-hand end of the stadium, away to my left. Still almost a full house here. 1 or 2 small blocks of white seats grouped together, which may be obviously a lot of groups inside the stadium today. Lots of school groups and club groups and from various organisations. And if you are listening in from one of those organisations, a very warm welcome to this Tuesday morning session here at the Olympic Stadium. We're just after 11 o'clock. It's 2 minutes past 11. An hour's competition under our belt already. Still plenty more track action to go. We've got 3 more victory ceremonies as well towards the end of this morning session.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back to the track for the second of the 2 heats in the men's 200 metres T34. Remember, it is only the first 3 through as of right. And there, in lane 6, please give him a warm welcome, representing Australia, currently ranked number 1 in the world, Reid McCracken.
A low-key wave of the right hand from Reid McCracken, not raising her arm, just waving with it rested on the front of her chair.
Number 4 in the world currently, Walid Katila.
And Walid Khatila on the outside of Tunisia.
We have the world silver medalist representing France
with a
Sébastien
red cap
Maubrey.
on backwards. This is the men's 200 metre T34. Dewitt of Canada on the inside. Maubrey of France in lane 4. Al-Mutairi of Kuwait in 5. McCracken of Australia in 6. Schwieling of the Netherlands in 7. And Khatila of Tunisia in lane 8. Once more, the first 3 will qualify, plus the next 2 fastest losers. Interesting to note that in lane 5, Al-Mutairi of Kuwait is a T33 competitor, but no competition for T33. But he is competing upper classification here with less impaired athletes.
We're away and driving in this men's
So away they go,
T34.
and a flying start made in lane number 4 by Sébastien Maubrey of France, who's come tearing past the athlete on his inside, Dewitt of Canada, but it's on the outside. Walid Khatila of Tunisia who leads. They come into the straight now. He's got 5 metre advantage from Maubrey of France. Fast finishing is McCracken of Australia, but it's Walid Khatila of Tunisia who wins by 3 or 4 metres. The comfortable winner. In second place, Reid McCracken of Australia. Then comes Sébastien Maubrey of France. They the 3 automatic qualifiers for the men's 200 metre T34 for wheelchair competitors. And it's a new world record as well. It's just been confirmed on the big screen here for Walid Khatila of Tunisia. 27.98, knocking 0.4 of a second off the world record set by Mohamed Hamadi, who won the first heat. That was set at the end of 2011 in Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates. But we have a new world record holder, Walid Khatila of Tunisia. There was also an Oceania record for Reid McCracken of Australia in second, 28.89. So the record's tumbling there in heat number 2 of the men's 200 metres. And Maubrey of France setting a personal best, equaling his personal best with 29.42 as the 3rd automatic qualifier. Qualifiers confirmed. Khatila of Tunisia, McCracken of Australia, Hamadi of the UAE, Maubrey of France, Bojan Mitic of Switzerland, Pruitt of the USA, Roush of the Netherlands, and Jamie Carter of Great Britain has sneaked through to the final with his personal best of 30.85. So the 18-year-old Jamie Carter is into the final as the 8th and final qualifier.
Round throw, 9 metres 62. Currently in 6th place. Remember, at the end of 3 rounds, the top 8 get a
The wind has just changed direction out in the arena now, as the Union Jack, which was flowing in a northerly direction from left to right, has been turning around and waving from right to left.
Those who qualified on
so the wheelchair athletes who've just competed are ushered off down towards the media interview zone by some athletic officials in their beige trousers and bottle green tops. You'll see plenty of them, I'm sure, over the course of the Olympic and Paralympic Games.
2 world records.
Members of the Olympic Broadcasting Services staff who arrange interviews for the media and photographs and various other things. They're just ushering the athletes off.
Jakit Punthong of Thailand just getting ready for his next
We have
jump.
some action now away to my left at the 100 metre start, because we're going to see the 100 metres in use for the first time today. The women's T11 100 metre first round is due off in the not too distant future. We'll see 3 heats of that, and that's T11 again for visually impaired athletes who will run blindfolded with guides.
Lex Gillette of the United States.
Update from the long jump is that Gillette of the USA has slipped down into 3rd position now, because the Russian athlete Koptev has just jumped a personal best of 6 metres and 8 seconds, 8 centimetres rather. So Kadyshev of the Ukraine 6:46 leads, Koptev of Russia 6:08 in second, and Gillette of the USA in 3rd with 5:98. That is about halfway through the 2nd round of the men's visually impaired F11 long jump. Bringing up today with Beverly Jones of Great Britain in the shot. A good improvement from Beverly in the 2nd round. 8:58 she threw in the 1st round. 9:62 she's just thrown in the 2nd round. Currently though has her in 6th position in the field of 10. So she should be okay to make it through to the final 3 throws. The leader is still the world record and Paralympic record holder Mi Na of China, who leads on 12 metres and 20 centimetres. So away to my left, on the start line, the visually impaired athletes in the women's T11 classification are just being arranged into position for some practice starts by their guide runners, who again have the luminous orange bibs. And once more, for athletes in the T11 and F11 classification, they must compete with a guide and they must compete blindfolded as well. You can choose to run with their guide runner either on their inside or on their outside, depending on which is their preference. But the guide runners have to stay within 50 centimetres of them at all times. And the competitor must also cross the finish line before their guide runner, otherwise they are disqualified.
De Jesus of Mexico, score of 883 points with his second round throw of 20 meters 14.
Look just to my right hand side in the media box here. I'm on the back row of the press box, and there are some black umbrellas raised just above our television colleagues from Channel 4 who are providing the television coverage here in Great Britain. Of course, they have umbrellas up, not because it's wet in the press box, but because the sun is beating down away to our right, and that it's causing a bit of a glare on their monitors, I think. So they have umbrellas up above them with the 2012 Paralympics logo emblazoned on them in pink and turquoise, and a Channel 4 logo as well. There's that sting, which signifies the start of a new event.
To the track once again, and round one in the women's 100 metres T11. 3 heats, this the first of the 3 heats, and in lane 3, representing Brazil, ranked number 3 in the world this year, please welcome Jerusa Geber Santos.
So 4 competitors running with their guides in each of these 3 heats. The first qualifies, only in the first place athlete will qualify, plus the next one fastest loser. Because of the use of the guides, of course, they have to run in their own lane. So only 4 athletes make it through to the final. So there are enough lanes for each of the 4 to have a guide runner as well. And the athlete's just being put into position now. In lane 1 on the inside, we have the bronze medalist from the 100 metres, Jia Junting Shang of China. Lane 3, the 100-metre silver medalist, Jerusa Geber Santos of Brazil. Lane 5, Yuki Tema of Japan. And lane 7, Gonzalez Santa Cruz of Mexico, each of which running with their guide runner. This the first heat, the women's 100-metre T11 category for visually impaired athletes. World record is 12 seconds. 12.04 seconds. Away they go. Flying start by Jia Juntiang of China, and it's the silver and bronze medalists for the 100 metres who are leading the way here. Santos of Brazil is going to come through and take the win. Santos of Brazil takes it from Jia of China. Third place, Yuki Tema of Japan, and Gonzalez of Mexico finishing in 4th position. So Jerusa Santos, world ranked number 2 on times in 2012. Silver medal in the
Jia in 2nd place. She will have to
200 metres.
She is the fastest loser from across the 3.
And she wins it, Santos, in 12.68 seconds. A personal best for Jia of China in 2nd, 12.87. And Yuki Tema of Japan confirmed in 3rd, and equaling her personal best at 13.57. Stadium falls silent again for the long jump. Visually impaired long jump on the far side. On the runway is Tanner Gers of the USA. His guide steps to one side before he starts his run up. A lot of them are staying in position right till the last possible moment, but Tanner Gers' guide stepping away. Tanner Gers hits the board, strikes the sand, falls forward onto his knees as he does so. Currently down in 10th position, Tanner Gers on 5 metres and 24. 2 of the competitors are yet to register a legal jump. As Mandeville, the Paralympic mascot, pops up on the big screen. A huge turquoise and white mascot, dancing around, clapping his hands, waving. He was asked on the public address system, you might have heard it on our pre-show with Ed Draper, what his favourite event was. And pretty much the easiest one to signpost, I guess, without having the use of your mouth, is the javelin, which may or may not be his or her favourite event. Mandeville, of course, named after the birthplace of the Paralympics at the Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Buckinghamshire.
Very short legs, bottom very near the ground. More brightly coloured than Wenlock, I have to say.
That was back after an archery competition was arranged for ex-service personnel with spinal injuries at the Stoke Mandeville Hospital back in 1948. That led to disability competitions beginning. The first Paralympic Games taking place in Rome back in 1960. 52 years later, here we are in the sunshine in the Olympic Stadium in East London. Of course, in 4 years' time, I would imagine, probably equally as sunny conditions when the 2016 Paralympic Games take place in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil.
Parejo Maza of Spain getting ready to take his second round jump. We can ask for absolute silence when these jumpers are just about to go. They would be very grateful indeed. Thank you very much.
Good jump by the Spanish athlete in the long jump. We'll bring you up to date with the distance for Parejo of Spain with his second round jump. In fact, it's a foul. He's got a red flag for Parejo of Spain, as Beverly Jones of Great Britain is in the shot put circle, just away to my right, in this bottom right corner of the green infield. And a good throw from Beverly, and that's close to 10 metres on this occasion. 9.62 is her best. That will be an improvement.
So far. Second round,
and that could take her up a place, I would imagine.
Around about the 10-metre mark.
Wait for the scoreboard to display Beverly Jones's distance. 9.85.
9.85. So
that is an improvement for Beverly Jones, and that takes her up into fifth place. Equal with Jia of China.
Will be amongst the top 8. Fingers crossed.
We've seen a world record and 2 regional records already in the women's shot put. Minar of China with the world record, Eva Werner of the Czech Republic with the European record, and Coelho of Brazil with a South American record already in the women's shot put F37, and that's only been going for 3 rounds so far. No improvement likely, I don't think, from Minar of China on her world record. That next throw, her third attempt, has come up just short of 12 metres. 11.94 is the mark for Minar in the third round. The leader in the women's shot put. Back on the long jump runway, this is Barakas of Greece, whose guide stepped away right at the last minute this time. Long stride from Barakas. Again, the guide is right there to the very last second. This is a kick from Barakas, who hops out of the pit. We'll wait for that distance to come up on the screen. Currently not troubling the medal positions, Barakas of Greece.
Down by the 100-metre start. Of course, we still have the 2 pools of men's shot put competition. Of course, is the final F57.58, and
still waiting for confirmation on that distance for Barakas of Greece. I'll wait for that before we move on.
Rounds of all the competitors. Now the top 8 get a further 3 throws, I think, in the circle.
He's currently in 9th position, Barakas of Greece. That's come up at 5 metres and 18, so no improvement for him. So the leaders remain the same in that long jump competition. It's still Katishev, Ruslan Katishev of the Ukraine, who leads on 6 metres and 46 centimetres, from Koptev of Russia 6.08 and Gillette of the USA 5.98. They're the top 3 in the men's visually impaired long jump as the athletes gather on the start line for the second heat of the women's 100-metre T11, and we have Great Britain interest in this heat as well, in the shape of Tracy Hinton from Cardiff, who's competing in her 6th Paralympic Games. What a record that is, stretching right back to Barcelona in 1992. 4th at the World Championships, world ranked number 6 this year, Tracy Hinton. She's got a job on to try and reach the final. And just inside her, she's got the 200-metre champion from Brazil and the Beijing silver medalist, Teresina Guilhermina of Brazil. Athletes will be introduced very shortly, and I'm sure Tracy Hinton will get a special Great Britain roar, as all the British athletes have done, not just today, but through every session of this Paralympic Games and the Olympic Games that went before.
It'd be good to get a mark on the board this time in order not to put himself under too much pressure by the time he gets to the crucial third round.
It's behind the 100-metre start. There's a long procession of 12 or 14 games makers in their purple and red polo shirts and grey trousers who are filing off down the tunnel in the corner of the stadium, just away to my left. Their duty out in the field is done.
In the men's javelin, it will be Brionis of Greece next to throw. The current leader is Moro Maximo de Jesus of Mexico. In the silver medal position currently, Jakar of the Islamic Republic of Iran and Cunningham of Jamaica in the bronze medal position. Brionis has opened up with 14 meters 50.
Just heard Maximo de Jesus of Mexico, 20.14, 883 points, leads the men's F52 and 53 javelin for seated throwers. Number one in the world, Jokar of Iran, currently lying in second place, 875 points. Applause on the far side for Bentria of Algeria, who has just completed his next jump in the long jump.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back to the track for the second of the three heats in the women's 100 metres T11. The full lineup on the board for you, and would you please greet in the lane 3. She is the reigning world champion over 100, 200 and 400. She took 200-metre gold here on Sunday. Please give a very loud welcome to Teresina Quillamena.
She raises her arms and spins round to greet the crowd, just as she did when she received her 200 medal.
Welcome to the reigning European champion representing Great Britain, Tracy Hinton.
The European champion from Cardiff in her 6th Paralympic Games, Tracy Hinton, who is 42 years of age. She lines up outside Guilhermina of Brazil, the world champion at 3 distances, as you just heard. On the inside is Benavides of Nicaragua, and completing the field of the 4 athletes on the outside is Esperança Gicasso of Angola. So Nicaragua, Brazil, Great Britain and Angola line up in heat number 2 of the women's T11 100 metres for visually impaired athletes. Only the first across the line will qualify, past the next one fastest loser. The final of this event is tomorrow evening. The athletes get themselves in position, the officials check them over. They have turquoise and navy blue shirts on with clipboards under their arm. Check all the athletes' fingers are back behind the line. They go into the set position. And there's the gun and then away. And it's a great start from Guilhermina, as you'd expect, who goes streaking away. Tracy Hinton currently in 3rd for Great Britain, but Guilhermina is easing up with 30 or 40 metres still to go. Guilhermina wins it comfortably, 12.23, not far outside the world record. In 2nd place was Gicasso of Angola. Tracy Hinton finishes in 3rd, and Benavides of Nicaragua completes the 4-runner lineup. A Paralympic record for Teresina Guilhermina of 12.23 seconds, beating the mark of the Chinese athlete Wu from Beijing, which was 12.31. A record-breaking career for Teresina Guilhermina. A season's best of 13.43 for Tracy Hinton of Great Britain in 3rd. We'll have to wait to see if that is enough for her to get through as the one fastest loser. We're just having a quick look back. Unfortunately, Jia of China in the first heat ran faster, so Tracy Hinton's chances of making it through to the final, unfortunately, are at an end.
Defending champion Li Duan.
One more heat to go in the women's T11 100 metres, and that will include the world rank number 3, Julia Santos of Brazil. Time is 11:22 on this beautifully sunny Tuesday morning. Lots of white sun hats and lots of Team GB regalia away to my left. Some people have bought Union Jacks to wave, but they've strapped them to their head as a temporary sun shield. Just away to my left, almost tied down like the old-fashioned white handkerchief that you'd tie 4 corners of and wear on the beach.
But this is better.
It really has been a scorching couple of days in the
Next to go
Olympic
after
Park.
Li Duan will be Ruslan Katchev.
And if you are heading off to enjoy the Olympic Park after this athletics session is finished, which is due to come to an end, by the way, in case you were interested, at just before 1:15, we have 2 victory ceremonies to finish the morning proceedings. So just under 2 hours of competition still left, due to close around about 1:15 there or thereabouts. So as the athletes prepare themselves for the 3rd and final heat in the 200 metres, let's bring you up to date with the long jump. Still the 1, 2, 3 exactly as they are. Katyshev of the Ukraine 6:46, Koptev with a PB of 6:08, and Gillette of 5:98. Just as I say that, the medal possessions have changed, because Li Duan of China has just jumped 6 meters 11, a personal best, and he's gone into 2nd place, knocking Koptev of Russia into 3rd, and Lex Gillette of the USA has slipped out of the medals into 4th place.
Henrik Plum of Slovenia.
So the men's shot put field has been reduced to 8 after the first 3 rounds. The current leader is Alexei Ashatapov of Russia, who threw 15 meters 95 in the 3rd round to get 976 points. Rokicki of Poland in 2nd, and Michael Lawrence of South Africa. They are currently the 1, 2, 3 in the shot put. That field reduced to 8 now after 3 throws. They'll throw in reverse order, with the leader throwing last. The applause are for the jump of the current leader in the men's long jump, Katyshev of the Ukraine. And he threw his arms out wide in celebration at that particular jump.
Tremendous British team that we've got at the Paralympics. Sophie Wells has won a silver medal in the equestrian events down at Greenwich Park.
Bring the distance for Katyshev, the long jump leader, in just a moment's time from the Ukraine, as that pops up on the electronic scoreboard. Stood on the infield over on the far side.
Stage of the men's shot put final for F57-58 competitors.
Still waiting for that to
the overall situation with
come up to complete the 2nd round of the long jump. Already looks like that's going to be a fascinating contest, with 3 or 4 athletes already interchanging positions at the top of the leaderboard. The applause is for Beverly Jones of Great Britain, her 4th throw in the shot put. That one coming up short of 10 metres. That looks around about the 9.5 metres.
Ruslan Katyshev of the Ukraine still in 1st place.
No improvement for Katyshev, as you may have heard there. 6:32, he still leads out on 6 metres and 46 centimetres. Athletes preparing themselves on the start line just away to our left for the 3rd and final heat of the women's 100 metres T11. Only the winner, remember, goes through, and the fastest loser. Tracy Hinton of Great Britain is not going to make it through, unfortunately, after finishing 3rd. Beverly Jones of Great Britain currently lying 6th in the women's shot put F37 final. Wind has just dropped down at track level just for a moment. As Coelho of Brazil in the 4th round has just thrown just short of 10 metres in the women's shot put.
That is what we're going to have now before we start.
And the 2 flags that I've mentioned, they're a good gauge of conditions down at track level. And at the moment, the 2 flags just to the left of the cauldron stood on tall white poles which stretch up from track level up, halfway up the upper tier of seating as I look. The Union Jack on the right and the white IPC flag of the International Paralympic Committee emblem. They both hang directly downwards at the moment.
On the board and into the circle, representing the Czech Republic. She's already set a new European record of 11 metres. Eva Bernard.
Eva Bernard of Czech Republic, currently lying 3rd, is in the shot put circle. She's a left-handed thrower. You don't see too many left-handed shot put throwers, and she has just thrown over 10 metres. Eva Bernard, the Czech Republic. 11 metres is currently her best, which has her in 3rd place. That's not going to be an improvement on that. It's only 10 metres and 11, which is her shortest throw so far, but she's already set the European record with that throw of exactly 11 metres in the 3rd round. So like the other field events, the women's shot put has been reduced to a field of 8. for the final 3 throws. And as I look down the right-hand side of my computer screen, various lettering down there which signifies notable throws. WR, we've had a world record, personal best. RR is for regional record. PB and an SB, which is for season's best. Those lettering and numbering dotted down the right-hand side of my screen in front of me,
as a foul by the Chinese athlete,
which means there have been some outstanding performances in this event, particularly one I'm looking at anyway, which is the women's shot put F37 final.
Behind Kadyshev of the Ukraine and Andrei Koptev of Russia. 6.08.
As I look around the far side of the stadium, just as we have a quiet moment on the track, the grey stairwells which stretch from the gantries very low in the upper tier, probably every 10 metres or so. As we look around the stadium, the stairs are very steep up towards the back. I was in the stadium as a spectator in the athletics, and my seats were right high up in the very back row of the upper tier, and I can tell you it was a long way up there. If you've climbed up there and you're listening to this now, you will know that was a steady climb. Almost needed to be as fit as a Paralympic athlete to get up those steps. But the view from the top is amazing. The sights and sounds of the Paralympics here in London 2012. Something to behold. A blueprint for the future, they've called this game. Something for every games that comes to learn from London 2012. Record numbers of tickets sold, 2.5 million Paralympic tickets across all sports. Largely a sellout. The Olympic Park absolutely thronging with people every single day, looking to get in and marvel at these elite athletes performing at the very top level. There's the sting, which means we're back on the track with our next event.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back to the track, the women's 100 T11. And in lane 3, representing Brazil, ranked number 3 in the world this year, Julia Santos.
So the leading athlete of these 4, just introduced to the crowd, world ranked number 3, Julia Santos of Brazil. On her inside is Shiho Watanabe of Japan. Lane 5, Tania Jimenez Manzanares of Mexico. And on the outside, Maria Gomez da Silva of Angola. They are the 4 competitors. Only the winner qualifies automatically, plus the 1 fastest loser across all 3 heats. The fastest time so far by a loser is Jia Juntingzhang of China with 12.87. So if the second place athlete wants to qualify for the final, they need to beat 12.87 seconds. Guilhermina of Brazil, Santos of Brazil already in the final. Can the other Santos, Julia Santos of Brazil, make it 3 Brazilian athletes out of 4 in the final? Away they go, and the way she started would signify that she will. Julia Santos leads after 20 metres. On her right-hand side, Jimenez Manzanares of Mexico, but it's Julia Santos who's up towards the line alongside her guide runner. Manzanares of Mexico finishes second, with Da Silva of Angola third and Watanabe of Japan fourth. And that means that out of the 4 athletes in the final of the women's 100-metre T11, 3 of them will be from Brazil. Jerusa Santos, Julia Santos and Teresina Guilhermina. It's a personal best for Santos, 12.88. And Jimenez in second place with 13.38 means that will not be enough to get to the final. It will be Guilhermina, Santos, and Jia Juntingzhang of China to make up the women's 100-metre T11 final. Silence in the stadium for Koptev of Russia in the men's long jump. It's his 3rd attempt.
Fourth place because previous to that, Lex Gillette of the United States improved his best jump to 6 meters 16. Currently lies in 2nd place. Every time you see one of the jumpers getting ready to take his jump, I would appreciate it if you could be really, really quiet. Make as much noise as you like when there aren't any long jumpers on the runway.
So we have had a change at the top end of the long jump competition. Kadyshev of Ukraine still leads on 6 meters and 46 seconds, but Lex Gillette of the USA has gone back into 2nd place with 6 meters and 16, with the Chinese competitor in 3rd. Andrei Koptev fouled that jump just then. He's down to 4th place now because Li Duan of China is 3rd on 6 metres 11. So I mentioned that will be an exciting climax. I say climax, they're not even halfway through the men's long jump yet, but already the top 4 athletes exchanging places almost with every single round. Next on the runway will be Xavier Porras of Spain. Currently lies in 5th position with 5 metres and 89. He's on the runway now. His guide stands, legs apart, around about the area of the board, facing his athlete who's at the opposite end of the runway. The guide has a luminous yellow bib on over his red Spanish tracksuit. Just maybe a little bit of stadium noise there because the Spanish athlete has aborted his run up halfway through and is walked back and ushered back by his guide now to the top of his mark. Once they're in position, these athletes have a 30-second countdown clock with which to complete their jump once they give the all clear to the officials that they are ready to jump.
Successfully, we hope.
So the clouds that were loitering above us here in the Olympic Stadium at the start of this morning session have largely disappeared now, just hovering over the top of the roof on the far side. I can see 1 or 2 last knockings of white, but the sun now mainly in clear blue sky. It's crystal clear away to my left. We still haven't quite worked out why the floodlights have been on for the morning sessions as well, but they stay on all day, every day. It's a spectacular sight when this stadium is in darkness and lit up by the floodlights, but it's equally as spectacular when it's bathed in crystal clear sunshine. Beautifully warm as it is today. Porras of Spain completing his jump at the second attempt, trying to improve on his previous effort of 5.89, which has him in
fantastic about this.
5th place. Wait for the measurement on that one. Just for the benefit of a TV replay, looks of slightly less distance. If you ask me to nail my colours to the mast on that one, I'm not sure that's going to be an improvement for Porras. Spain with 5 metres and 89.
And after he has taken his 3
next action on the track, by the way, we'll be back to the women's 100 metre start in about 5 minutes from now or so. And that is for T46 category, which is for those with impairment to their arms. That will include another Great Britain athlete, Sally Brown, who is Northern Irish, comes from Ballykelly, competes for the Coleraine Club. 5.70 in the long jump for Porras, so no improvement in his previous jump of 5.89.
Jakarta of the Islamic Republic of Iran, but it is Araminas of Greece next to Rome.
It's a calm sight just away to my left. The victory ceremony podium has been very busy, many classifications. There will be, I think, another 10 new classifications brought into the Paralympic Games for Rio in 2016. It's a very hectic programme. The different classifications, of course, so many different classifications to make sure that athletes with similar impairments are grouped together to make the playing field as level as possible. Fairest competition for the elite athletes at the very top level. For the victory podium at the moment, 3 empty purple ramps with just 1 solitary official sat down on a fold-out picnic chair, if you like, facing the athletics track. Sat almost in solitary confinement. He's got nobody 20 yards to his left or 20 yards to his right. He's not the official security guard for the podium, but he's sort of doing a very apt job, if you like, just sat there protecting the Holy Grail, the Paralympic gold medal podium, which is where every athlete would love to be.
So we are following the women's shot put, I think, on the, we're certainly in video terms, we are on the south stand, and now the scoreboard, as if by some magic, comes in line. And it shows that Minar still leads with 11 metres 30, and we are into the 6th and final round. Tane of Latvia to take a 6th and final round.
So athletes just gathering away to my right for our next track event. It's going to be men's 400 metre T12 semi-finals.
Next jumper is getting ready.
There are 2 of those. Bring up to date with the start list of those very shortly indeed. As the games makers once more walk away with the boxes full of kit, which will be taken to the athletes' holding area. Remember, they get called into a call room underneath the stadium once they've completed their preparations on the warm-up track, which is just a few hundred metres away from the main arena. They walk down a tunnel which accesses them to the athletes' call area down underneath the bowels of the Olympic Stadium. That is where they are led out from, and that's where their kit is taken back to. As we prepare for the semi-finals in the men's 400 metres T12 category. First four athletes out on the track will be introduced to the crowd very shortly. Tieb Sequeira of Brazil, Hilton Langenhoven of South Africa, Sun Qichao of China, and Zar Osmanov of Azerbaijan are the four athletes who will go in this first men's T12 semi-final over 400 metres. In the T12 classification, which is one of our visual impairment classifications, the athletes can choose to run with a guide runner if they wish, but they don't have to. And only in this first semi-final, Sequeira on the inside of Brazil will be running with a guide. There's the sting as we get ready to introduce our competitors for the men's 400 metres.
Next event on the track, the first semi-final of the men's T12 400 metres. As the full lineup, pride of place though, I guess, has to go to the former Paralympic 200-metre champion, Hilton Langenhoven from South Africa.
Hilton Langenhoven smiles and waves to the crowd in his green and yellow South Africa vest, shaved head,
and only the first in each
wearing sunglasses.
And the next two fastest losers will go through to the final.
On your mark.
First athlete in each heat. There are two semi-finals.
Pereira Manarin, Langenhoven,
plus the two fastest losers will go through. It's settled down in their blocks just away to my right-hand side. Once again, the 400 metres run completely in lanes all the way round. Sequeira of Brazil on the inside, Langenhoven of South Africa in 3, Sun Qichao of China in 5, and Osmanov of Azerbaijan on the outside. As away they go, and a bright start from Langenhoven, as you'd expect. Tearing away, and he's up on Sun Qichao of China, round past the 100-metre point. Halfway down the back straight, Osmanov of Azerbaijan is going well on the outside. It's these two who lead. Sun of China in 4th place at the moment, and Sequeira of Brazil in 3rd. But it's going to be a battle to the line between these two with 200 metres to go. Right on the outside, Razar Osmanov in the red and black of Azerbaijan is just being caught on the inside now by Hilton Langenhoven of South Africa as they come into the home straight now. These two are a good 5 metres clear. A huge draw for Hilton Langenhoven, who's stretching away. Osmanov is fading from Azerbaijan, and Sequeira from Brazil is taking him over, and I think he's going to finish in 2nd place. Fast finish from Qichao of China as well. He finishes 3rd, and in the end, it's a comfortable win for Langenhoven, but it all happened behind him in the end. Sequeira of Brazil 2nd, Sun of China in 3rd, and Osmanov of Azerbaijan, who went out of the traps very fast, unfortunately faded, and he finished 4th. Final throw for Bev Jones of Great Britain in the women's shot put. This is her 6th and final throw. She's currently down in 7th position. Needs to pull something out here to trouble the medal positions. The crowd roaring her on. Bev Jones in the shot put circle just to my right, in the crouch position. Launches it powerfully now. It's short of 10 metres. It won't be an improvement for Bev Jones, who gets the white flag, but will finish out of the medals. And her best throw, 9 metres 85 in the 3rd round, had her in 7th place. For the confirmed results of that men's 400 metre T12, a personal best equaling performance from Hilton Langenhoven of 49.42. He's the one automatic qualifier. A South American record for Tieb Sequeira of Brazil in 2nd, 50.11. And Sun Qichao of China, 50.96 in 3rd. And a season's best of Razar Osmanov in Azerbaijan, who finished in 51.34 seconds. Sequeira faces a nervous wait for this second heat to find out if he will qualify as a fastest loser. Just the one automatic spot taken by Langenhoven of South Africa. So once again, the stadium at frequent intervals falling silent for the visually impaired long jump.
Now
taking place
the final 3 throws
on the far side
in this women's shot put competition. Well, I believe it's just shaken her 6th and final round throw. She has 10 metres 60 for a new America's record. Well done, Charlene Coelho, with her 6th and final round throw, 10 metres 60. Now into the circle. Currently in the bronze medal position with a best of 11 metres, representing the Czech Republic, Eva Bernard.
Bernard of the Czech Republic lands that around about 10 metres, so again not likely to be an improvement for her. In third place currently with 11 metres exactly. But Mina looks to have the gold medal sewn up here. It's going to be a China
long jump.
1-2. It's a foul actually for Bernard. She steps through the circle in the last round, so the jump will not be measured. The throw rather will not be measured. And it means it's going to be a China 1-2 in the women's shot put as we come to the final 2 throws. But in which order? You would guess that the order will probably stay as it is now, because Mina set a new world record of 12.20, an improvement by 60 centimetres on her previous mark from 2010. A brand new world and Paralympic record, of course. And Chu Ping, an international teammate from China, is over a metre down in second place. She's in the circle now. She launches it forward. It's only just over 10 metres. That won't trouble the gold. So Mina is going to collect the gold medal, a repeat of the performance from Beijing. And it's double gold for Mina of China. She will come into the circle and take her final throw in just a moment's time.
We have the 6th.
But it will be Bernard of the Czech Republic in the bronze, Chu of China in silver, and Mina will be the champion.
As she goes into the circle, please welcome Mina.
Britain's Bev Jones, by the way, is going to finish in 7th position. As Mina explodes the throw, it's short of 12 metres. It doesn't matter, she is the champion. She's the world record holder. She's the Paralympic record holder.
World record. She is confirmed in the gold medal position. Xu Qiping of China in the silver medal position, and Eva Bernard of bronze for the Czech Republic. The women's shot put F37 final.
Voice of Adrian Christmas, one of our stadium commentators here inside the Olympic Stadium, just confirming the results of that women's shot put F37 final.
And the confirmed result of that women's shot, and that 11 metres from Eva Bernard in the bronze medal position, reset her previous European record. That's the first time she has thrown 11 metres.
Update on the men's javelin throw taking place on the bottom left corner of the infield as I look. It's the F52 and F53 category. It's just being moved into position for their final 3 throws. The leader is now Mauro Maximo de Jesus of Mexico, who has taken the lead from Jokar of Iran. 20.14 metres for de Jesus of Mexico, 13 centimetres ahead of Jokar of Iran, 20.01.
Our next track event.
And the third place currently held by Alfonso Cunningham of Jamaica, 19.57. That's at the halfway point of the men's javelin throw, F52 and F53. An update on the men's shot put 2 in the F57, F58 category, again for seated throwers, taking place just down again to my left-hand side. They are now into their final 3 throws each. The final 8, the field has been reduced to 8. Remember, all 8 athletes rather take their 3 throws grouped together.
Taking his 6th round throw at 11 metres 66.
Anastasios Tissou of Greece has fouled all 3 of his 4th, 5th and 6th round throws. The second athlete, Batista dos Santos of Brazil, has set a America's record of 12.87 meters, which is got him 7th place at the moment. Mohammed of Syria is currently taking the 5th of his throws, and he's currently 13 meters and 12 so far in 6th place. The leaders, Ashapatov of Russia, 15.95, Rokicki of Poland, 15.68, and Lawrence of South Africa, 13.64. Remember, this event is a mixed classification. It's done on the points tariff rather than the distances. And actually, Michael Lawrence of South Africa is an F57 competitor. Therefore, despite the fact that he hasn't thrown as far as some of the other competitors, by virtue of him having a higher level of impairment, he, on his point score, currently sits in the bronze medal position. Michael Lawrence of South Africa, the 52-year-old. Silence in the stadium as we go back to the men's long jump. It's Gulin of Russia, who unfortunately just fouls on his next attempt over on the far side. So the long jump competition heading towards the halfway point as well, when the field will be reduced to 8. There are 12 competitors in total. Denis Gulin currently down in 12th of the 12 positions. The leader is still Ketishev of Ukraine with his first round jump of 6.46. Lex Gillette of the USA, 6.16 in second. Third place is Li Duan of China, 6.11.
Last semi-final of the men's 400 meters T12.
Back we go to the track for the second semi-final of the men's T12 400 metres.
Just 100th of a second outside of breaking the 50-second barrier.
4 athletes again in this visually impaired classification. Again, just one of them opting to run with a guide runner. On the inside, it's Hyacinth de la Place of France. Lane 3, Mahmoud Kaldi of Tunisia. Jorge Benjamin Gonzalez Socheda of Mexico in lane 5. And it's Gerard Desgarrega Puigdeval of Spain on the outside, and he will run with a guide runner. And the guide runner is running on the outside, so the athlete's right-hand side, as they settle down with their backs to me. My position 20 metres from the finish line in their blocks. Lane 1, of course, right on the inside, starting on the finish line itself. Athletes spread out at regular intervals as part of the stagger process. Difference in running in the inside lane, of course, a much shorter route than running all the way around the outside of the track, and that's why the athletes are staggered. They run the whole race in lanes. Only the winner will qualify. Away they go. Fastest out of the blocks was Desgarrega of Spain on the outside, running with his guide, and he is the leader on the far side as they go down halfway along the back straight. Kaldi of Tunisia in the red and black on the inside, just going past Socheda of Mexico round the outside, and it's the athletes in 3 and 7, Kaldi of Tunisia and Puigdeval of Spain, who are pretty much neck and neck as they come round the bend and in towards the home straight away to my left once more. Mahmoud Kaldi of Tunisia is now the leader by 3 or 4 metres from Desgarrega Puigdeval of Spain on the outside. A fast finish from de la Place of France on the inside, and Socheda is also finishing quickly in lane number 5. A comfortable win for Kaldi of Tunisia, who wins by 5 metres, just about on the line. I think Socheda of Mexico may well have got up to pick Desgarrega Puigdeval of Spain and Hyacinth de la Place of France in 4th position. 49.02, a big personal best for Mohamed Kaldi of Tunisia, who's taken nearly a second off his personal best. That's only 4/10 of a second outside the world record. Socheda confirmed in second place, a personal best of 50.43. At 50.43 will get him through as one of the fastest losers. As will Desgarrega in Spain, also a personal best, the same time but given third place, 50.43. Those two will qualify as the 2 fastest losers for the final. So Kaldi of Tunisia, Socheda of Mexico and Desgarrega Puigdeval of Spain will all qualify for the final, along with Hilton Langenhoven, the winner of the first heat from South Africa. So as the blocks are removed and the athletes congratulate each other after the finish of that men's 400-metre T12 semi-finals. Again, the focus, the hub of activity for the games makers returns to the 100-metre start at the entrance to the home straight, just away to my left. As a spectator in front of me takes their Paralympics GB Union Jack, a Union Jack flag with a white Paralympics GB emblem in the centre of it, and uses it as a headscarf to shelter from the sun, which in the not too distant future will disappear, certainly from my point of view, talking completely selfishly, behind the roof of the stand away to my right. It's only the first couple of hours of the day, sat in this position anyway, where the sun is beating down on the far side, but we'd rather have that than rain, because trust me, the roof above me doesn't extend out over my head. It's probably a good 10 metres back behind me, so if it was wet, I would be wearing a poncho and my notes would be falling to pieces. But as it is, I would much rather be sat here in shirt sleeves as I am, bathed in sunshine. Hopefully, if you're sat in the sun, it's not been too unbearable, or if you're sat in the shaded half of the stadium, hopefully it's been pleasant and cool. The Olympic Park itself gets very warm in the middle of the day, so do take precautions, obviously. Find some shade and drink plenty of water if you are hanging around the Olympic Park for the rest of the day.
The leader at the moment on 6 metres 46. But here
so
we
the bottom
go.
right area of the infield, as I look closest to me, just away to my right, adjacent to the finish line, is now empty. The shot put sector stands vacant. The officials have all moved away. The purple seating on which the competitors sit in between throws, 6 purple seats all joined together, all just sits vacant as well. Scoreboard just down trackside in that shot put area has returned to show the London 2012 emblem rather than the competitor information that it has been showing throughout the course of the last couple of hours or so.
Tremendous support there for Lee Duan.
Official result to the shot puts. They've just been handed to me, by the way, to confirm what we knew a little bit earlier on. A new world record for Minar of China, 12 metres and 20, almost a 60-centimetre improvement on her previous mark, set in 2010 in Guangzhou in China. Chu Jiping of China takes the silver, 11.04, and Eva Berner with a new European record of 11 metres and the bronze medal for the Czech Republic in the F37 women's shot put. It's confirmation of the news I brought you a moment ago for the T12 400-metre men's qualifiers. Calvi of Tunisia, Langenhoven of South Africa, Gonzalez of Mexico, Des Garrega of Spain. 3 of the 4 qualifiers coming from that second heat.
Lee Duan's distance, 6 metres 31. Big improvement for him, but he's still in second place behind the next man to jump, Kadashev of the Ukraine.
Hopefully you pick that up from Paul Dickinson. That's in the long jump pit. Lee Duan of China, a 20-centimetre improvement to 6.31 in the third round. Still in second place, 15 centimetres behind the leader, who is Ruslan Katishev of the Ukraine, with his first round leap of 6 metres and 46. And he's on the runway on the far side. His guide has actually got his luminous yellow bib on inside out because the lettering is backwards. Looks like it's being looked at in a mirror. Up comes our leader Katishev to the board, lands in the pit. A rueful look from him, with his glasses in the Ukrainian flag. The top half horizontally is blue, the bottom half is yellow. So customising his visual eyewear. All the competitors, of course, in this F11 category competing blindfolded. Waiting for a confirmed distance from Kadishev of the Ukraine. Will it be an extension of his lead at 6.46 or not? Still, that's all eyes on the bottom right corner of the mini scoreboard, which are posted around the infield. One for each of the field events. And there's a big black space at the moment, which is where the luminous yellow writing will pop up in a second with the distance of Ruslan Katishev of the Ukraine.
6.31.
Spectators over on that far side giving Katishev a warm round of applause as he walks back along the runway in the opposite direction, with a cameraman walking backwards, holding the camera right in front of him. 6.06 for Katishev, so his shortest jump so far, no improvement.
But he does still stay in the lead.
He's followed all the way back by a cameraman who's got a a guide of his own walking behind him to make sure he doesn't fall over anything.
There we have
as he makes his way backwards following the
final 3 rounds in the long jump up on the scoreboard.
The athletes. Top 8 qualifiers now. The field reduced to 8 in the long jump. We started with 12. We're down to 8 for the final 3 jumps. And again, they jump in reverse order with the current leader jumping last, and they stay in that order. They don't move around positions depending on how the leaderboard changes throughout the course of the rest of the competition. They stay in the order in which they start the 4th round.
Back in year 2004, a silver medalist also in Beijing. And at the moment, the American is lying in 3rd place.
Competitors gathering on the start line away to my left for the first of the semi-finals in the women's 100-metre T46 classification, which again is for ambulant athletes with limb deficiency, and in the case of the 46 classification, it's an impairment to the arms. They are lining up just away to our left. As the time ticks towards midday on this Tuesday inside the Olympic Stadium, day 6 of the London 2012 Paralympic Games. Hard to believe we're already halfway through these games. Already so much British success for the largely British crowd. I say that, of course, with the greatest of welcomes to our international friends who are listening. Of course, there are plenty of international supporters in the stadium. Just to typify that, away to my right, just behind the flaming Paralympic cauldron, I can see 2 Jamaica flags with their black and green and a yellow crossbelt across the centre in a horizontal X formation just underneath the main scoreboard. Just to emphasise what I'm saying, this visual sight on the scoreboard behind is mainly of spectators waving Union Jacks. There's a sting, new event.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's turn our attention back to the track for round 1 of the women's 100 metres T46, the first of 2 heats. And in lane 3, please would you give a very warm welcome to the reigning world champion, world record holder and the defending Olympic champion representing Cuba, Eunides Castillo.
She's also the gold medalist in the 200 metres from these Paralympics already, Eunides Castillo. Here comes a Great Britain roar.
Representing Great Britain, Sally Brown.
This crowd's warming up. I think that's the loudest Great British roar so far for the 100-metre athlete Sally Brown, who, as I mentioned earlier on, hails from Ballykelly in Northern Ireland. And she will go in lane 5, making up the rest of the field. Smaragdi of Greece in lane 2, Castillo, the defending champion and world champion, in 3, Lalwala of Sri Lanka in 4, Sally Brown of Great Britain in 5, Bisunki of Nepal in 6, Ouyang of China in 7, and Rodamakina of Russia in lane 8. The 100 metres T46 for those with arm impairments. Back lane 7, the athlete from China is vacant. Away they go. A good start from Sally Brown of Great Britain in lane number 6, but it's Rodamakina of Russia down the outside, chasing Castillo of Cuba. Castillo of Cuba easing down with 30 metres to go, and these 2 are way clear. Sally Brown of Great Britain is going to finish in 3rd place. The first 3 go through, plus the next 2, and Sally Brown's 3rd place finish will be enough to get her through to the final, but it's yet another world record inside the Paralympic Stadium. 11.95 is a world record for Eunides Castillo, improving her own mark, she said, in Beijing in 2008. She's taken 900ths of a second off it, 11.95. She is the new world record holder once more, and Sally Brown of Great Britain in 13.67 is also an automatic qualifier for the women's 100-metre T46 final, and that takes place tomorrow evening. Personal best from Smaragdi of Greece in 4th position. So there will be British involvement in the final. Congratulations to Sally Brown, and I'm sure all those watching in Northern Ireland on their television screens will have very much enjoyed that. World junior champion over 200 metres, by the way, is Sally Brown. She is just 19 years of age. So we have one more heat in that women's 100-metre T46 category to come. 6 will step on the start line very shortly. They're just going through their preparations now, away to my left. The sun has now disappeared behind one of the giant triangular floodlight stanchions here at the Olympic Stadium, which means I've can put my Factor 30 cream away. To be honest, I wish I'd remembered to bring it. Nobody told me I'd be sat in blazing sunshine when I arrived for the first day of competition.
Well, the clock has been
the first day of
reset
competition
on
that I
the
covered
far side of the
yesterday.
stadium.
As a Mexican
Which will
wave
add
starts
1
up for the
minute
first
to
time
complete
today,
that
I have to say that it's not often you see the Mexican wave going anti-clockwise, rather in a clockwise direction, which is the opposite direction, of course, to which the athletes run. They're running in an anti-clockwise direction, passing me from left to right, but the Mexican wave is now making its way underneath the electric scoreboard away to my left. It's mainly the lower tier. In fact, the lower tier Mexican wave is probably about 10 metres ahead of the upper tier, as it now works its way along the back straight. So let's bring you up to date with the long jump competition, shall we? They're just about to begin the final 3 rounds of the long jump, down to the final 8 competitors. It's Kadyshev of Ukraine who leads, from Li Duan of China and Lex Gillette of the USA. They're currently in the gold, silver and bronze respectively, with the field now jumping in reverse order as they head into the 4th round. One of our officials on the far side just waving to the crowd to quieten them down. Unfortunately, the Mexican wave that was going round,
thank you very much,
wasn't exactly helping the athletes in our visually impaired long jump competition. If you weren't with us earlier on, rely on acoustic signals, both voice and hand clapping, which are perfectly allowable from their guides. In this case, the Spanish athlete Martin Parejo Maza has 2 guides, one to line him up on the runway and one to stand close to the board to provide the visual signals. Round of applause for Parejo Maza of Spain as he completes his 4th jump in 8th position so far with 5 metres.
You've got 30 seconds of energy
57.
in you. You can do your Mexican wave now. Right, that's enough.
And the crowd responding to Paul Dickinson's 30-second window of opportunity to get the Mexican wave going before our next competitor is on the runway.
Martin Parejo Maza.
Now there's almost a mini Mexican
And
wave
best
going.
jump
There's
so
2
far,
Mexican
5
waves going
minutes
around actually.
57, 5
One's just
meters
past
40
me
on
from
that
right to left in the
So he
lower tier of the
stays in 8th
press
place.
box. And now they've sort of joined up together in the lower and upper tiers. They've caught each other up.
Well, let's drop in on that men's
So as the long
javelin.
jump continues, let's mention the men's javelin as that classifications has just popped up on the score. Abdulreza Jokar of Iran is the current leader in the men's javelin competition. He's the world champion, silver medalist from Beijing. He's completed his 6 throws, 20.72, scoring 920 points. Abdulreza Jokar of Iran is the leader in the men's javelin F52 and F53. The Mexican wave will have to be curtailed once more here in the stadium. Once more the official on the far side on the long jump runway, standing with both his arms up, waving them down with flat palms towards the floor. Signal for the crowd to quieten down. Quiet for the athlete, please. And a big giant picture of a finger on some lips pops up on the scoreboard. An aborted attempt in the long jump on that occasion. Again, so difficult, really important that the crowd do stay as silent as possible on that far side particularly. This is Rickard Straat of Sweden, who is currently ranked in 7th position, just 17 years of age, the Swedish long jumper. Just a bit below his personal best so far. 5.97 his personal best, and his current mark in this competition is 5.67.
Of Sweden getting himself ready for his 4th round jump. Thank you very much.
Rickard Straat wearing a black blindfold, receives his instructions from his guide, and he's aborted for a 2nd time there, just losing his way only about 5 or 10 metres before the long jump board. He's just about aborting his run in time before he gets to the board. Once he gets to the board and runs through, of course, if he does decline to take off and runs into the pit, then that will count as a foul jump. But as long as he pulls up before the board, he's still within the time frame allowed, then he is able to complete his jump. He sets for a third time, does Rickard Straat of Sweden, as his guide jogs back down the runway, stands in position right in front of the board. Here he comes now. Rickard Straat of Sweden hits the board this time, makes it into the pit, and the crowd appreciate that. He gives them a wave, and he bounces out of the pit with some enthusiasm, the Swedish athlete. I can tell the crowd are absolutely desperate to give them their support and clap him along, as you would do sometimes in other forms of long jump and triple jump. But of course, the visual impairment category, so important that they do stay silent on that far side. We're back on the track with the women's 100 metre T46 second semi-final, which just saw Sally Brown from Great Britain qualify.
The world bronze medalist from New Zealand last year, Carly Beattie.
So Carly Beattie just being introduced to the crowd in lane 5 of the 6 competitors here. First 3 go through, plus the 2 fastest losers.
China with a lifetime best of 12.93, Wang Yanping.
Wang Yanping of China. To complete the rest of the lineup for you in lane number 3 is Usumani Kande of Guinea-Bissau. West African country we mentioned earlier on, their second competitor of the morning. Katarzyna Pikart of Poland in 4, Carly Beattie of Australia in 5, Sheila Finder of Brazil in 6, Wang Yanping of China in 7, and Yengus Deze Azanal of Ethiopia in lane 8.
Quiet for the start, please.
Carly Beattie, category T46, remember, for those with arm impairments. Carly Beattie has a prosthetic arm from the elbow downwards on her left arm, to give her propulsion from the start. The athletes all crouching on the start, and away they go. And a good start in lane number 6 from Sheila Finder of Brazil, but Carly Beattie getting into her running now, and the Chinese athlete Wang on this near side. It's Wang striding up towards the line who will win this. Pikart from Poland in 2nd, and it was Sheila Finder of Brazil who got 3rd, just ahead of Carly Beattie from Australia in 4th place. That the 1, 2, 3, 4 then, a win for Wang Yanping of China. And the winning time, 12.83, which will be a new personal best for Wang Yanping of China, and it's also 12.82. It's rounded down a little bit. That is also an Asian record for Wang as well. Pikart of Poland, a personal best 13.04 in 2nd. Also a personal best for Finder of Brazil in 3rd, 13.13. They are the 3 automatic qualifiers. Carly Beattie will have to wait and see. She qualifies as the fastest loser. They then go silent again for Firas Bentria of Algeria on the long jump runway. Into the pit now, currently lying in 6th place with a jump of 5 metres and 73.
Well done, everybody.
Just emphasise how the wind is varying, by the way, down at
well, if Bentria wants to move
track
up
level.
to a medal,
Give you a couple of figures. Remember, the wind is measured in terms of records as well for each jump at each event. The legal limit
and in 4th place
of wind behind an athlete is plus 2.0 metres per second, which is the legal limit of support behind them, if you like, with a wind supporting them in the direction they're running or jumping. You can have as much headwind as you like, but plus 2.0 metres per second is the legal limit. Just to bring you a couple of figures, the 3 jumps that Xavier Porras of Spain has taken have been minus 1.2 metres per second. That's a headwind of 1.2 metres per second. His second jump was plus 2.0, so 2 metres per second behind him. The third one, minus 0.3 metres per second, which is barely any wind whatsoever. So 3 really fluctuating wind readings. I mentioned earlier on the different directions in which the flags have been fluttering. Sometimes quite hard to tell from the sheltered positions of the stand, but those wind readings will tell us that the wind is varying down there, and in fact the leading jump in the competition so far in the long jump, Ruslan Kadyshev of the Ukraine, with plus 2.2 metres per second. That is the leading jump so far of 6 metres 46. That wouldn't count as a new record because it is over the legal limit of plus 2.0 meters per second.
Porash of Spain, his fourth round jump.
Athlete in fifth place, Porash of Spain, 5 meters 89 so far. Needs nearly a 20-second improvement if he's to get it, a 20-centimeter improvement if he's to get himself up a place, and he's currently 27 centimeters below the bronze medal position, which is held on 6.16 by Gillette of the USA, but that is his personal best. Porash, he has jumped 6.16 in the past, so it's not beyond his capabilities. Here he comes now, Porash, from left to right as we look on the big screen, the opposite direction as we watch in real time on the far side of the stadium. And again, warm applause from this crowd as he completes his jump, and he's ushered away from the pit by his guide.
Just take a look at the replay. You'll see the area the athletes are attempting to take off from. The coach just moving out of the way at the last minute. And that is why we need silence, because the coach is basically giving the athlete direction. So obviously silence is essential. But let's try and just wrap up this shot put competition for you if we can. Michael Laurens of South Africa, long-time competitor in the Paralympic Games. He is guaranteed a bronze medal. He's finished his competition 13.64, his best throw.
Just to expand on what Paul Dickinson was saying there over the stadium.
Results are up on the scoreboard.
PA in the men's shot put F57 and F58 category. That's for those throwing from a seated position, remember. Michael Laurens of South Africa, currently ranked third with the season's best of 13.64, 958 points. Only 2 points short of Janusz Rakicki of Poland, who's got 960 points in second place.
Of Russia.
That means that the medal positions have been decided, because the only competitor left to take his final set of free throws will be the leader, the Russian Alexei Shapatov. Currently leads on 15 meters 95. Just to give you further emphasis on how the points classification works, the second and third place athletes, Rakicki of Poland is an F58, which means he has a lower level of impairment than Laurens in third, who's an F57. Their throws were 2 meters difference. Rakicki threw 2 meters further, but his points classification was only 2 points further than Laurens. So a 2 meter difference equating to 2 points. That shows you how the RASA algebraic formula brings the athletes together on a relatively level playing field. So a very creditable effort from Michael Laurens, who is competing, as I say, with athletes with less impairment. He will take the bronze, Rakicki of Poland will take the silver, and Shapatov of Russia will take the gold in the men's shot put F57 and 58. Long jump is fascinating though. We're in round 4 at the moment. We're almost halfway through round 4, with the field reduced from its initial level of 12 down to 8 competitors, all competing in reverse order. Another vacant area of the field now is the top left corner of the infield playing area. Which was housing the men's shot put a little bit earlier on.
96, just short of his best so far. But next to go is Gillette from the USA, currently lying in third place.
So it's Lex Gillette of the USA on the runway, on the far side, in the red of the US. He remember the world bronze medalist over the 200 metres and the silver medalist from Beijing. He looks pretty happy with that. Unfortunately, he gets a red flag, so he won't be happy when he turns around and sees that. So a foul for Lex Gillette in the 4th round here. So he only has 2 jumps to go to elevate himself from the bronze medal position and to make up the 30 centimetres by which he currently trails the leader, Ruslan Katishev of the Ukraine.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the track for round 2 of the men's 200 metres T11. 3 semi-finals or 3 heats to decide our finalists. The full lineup on the board there for you, using lanes 1, 3, 5 and 7.
So the full start list for the first of 3 semi-finals in this T11 men's 200 metre, which is for athletes with the highest level of visual impairment, all of whom will be blindfolded again and will run with a guide alongside them.
In lane
4 competitors.
5, representing Brazil, the lifetime best of 22.99, one of the fastest men in the field, Felipe Gomez. Xu Li of China in 1, ranked number 2 in the world this year.
Xu Li of China is in lane 1, world ranked number 2 this year. Elshin Muradov of Azerbaijan in lane 3. Felipe Gomez just introduced to the crowd in lane 5. He's the fastest in the field on paper, the only man below 23 seconds. And in lane 7, on the outside, is the American athlete David Brown. Final of this is tonight. This is the first of 3 semi-finals. Only the winner of each heat and the one fastest loser will take the 4 spots
first across the line
in tonight's final. In this men's 200 metre T11 classification, triple Olympic, Paralympic and world champion Lucas Prado of Brazil goes in the 3rd of these semi-finals. Stadium falls into silence over in the top left corner of the track as I look at the 200 metre start on the far side. And away they go, all the athletes running with their guides, remember in their luminous green bibs. A strong start on the outside from David Brown of the USA, and in lane number 5 it's Felipe Gomez of Brazil. It's those two who lead coming into the straight. Trying to get back on terms is Muradov of Azerbaijan, who's coming through strongly on the inside. But it's Gomez of Brazil who leads from the Azerbaijani athlete Muradov. David Brown also finishing very strongly. Muradov just about hangs on for second. The winner is Felipe Gomez of Brazil. He's the automatic qualifier. Muradov of Azerbaijan second, David Brown of the USA third, and Xu Li of China, world ranked number 2 on time this year, maybe surprisingly finishing in the last of the 4 places. A personal best for Gomez, 22.97 to automatically qualify Muradov of Azerbaijan with a regional record of 23.41, just ahead of David Brown, 23.47, and Xu Li of China, 25.91, bringing up the rear. In the long jump pit, it's the athlete currently in 2nd place, Li Duan of China. 6:31 he jumped in the 3rd round, a personal best. He's 15 centimetres short of the leader, Ruslan Kadyshev of the Ukraine. Up he comes now, almost a forward roll as he lands in the pit there. Can't tell from his reaction whether he's happy or disappointed with that. Hit the board at some good speed. Again, hard to tell whether that will be an improvement from Li Duan of China.
There is the champion in the men's shot put. Remarkable performance from Shabbatov. He retains his title that he won so well.
Yes, the applause you just heard in the background was for Ashapatov of Russia, who is the men's shot put champion, as we confirmed a few moments ago. Finishes with a throw of 16 metres and 20 centimetres. Congratulations to Alexei Ashapatov of Russia, who is the Paralympic champion in the men's shot put F57 and F58 category. He's the world record holder in the F58 category. He's the defending champion, and he has won the gold once more. 6:19 for Li Duan of China, so no improvement for him. He remains in 2nd place behind Ruslan Kadyshev of Ukraine.
Ruslan Kadyshev of the Ukraine.
He is on the runway again as his guide marches down to the board. Electronic clock, once the guide is in position, starts the 1-minute countdown. She starts her rhythmical hand claps that will have been worked on. The one that will have been measured out, the paced out, and knows exactly how many strides, how long the strides are once he hits the board. Here comes Kadyshev now, up, hits the board. Seemed to hit the board pretty well. He's gone out to a fair distance there, Kadyshev. He's got a red flag, what a shame. I thought he hit the board pretty well. He was certainly well up on the board, but too far. He's into the plasticine. So a red flag, unfortunately. That one won't be measured. It would have been interesting to see how far that would have been
So at the end
if it had been measured, but unfortunately
the same order, Kadyshev,
it is a red flag.
Gillette,
He's heading out quite close to his current personal best mark, which has the lead of 6 metres and 46, but no matter. Unfortunately, he overstepped, and therefore we'll never know. He still has the lead, though. 2 rounds remaining in the men's visually impaired long jump F11 classification. Time now, 22 minutes past midday on this Tuesday morning session of the Paralympic Games, and again those 2 flags I've been referring to quite often as a gauge of the wind, probably fluttering at about 60 degrees to the vertical now. Fairly decent wind around the stadium.
Making his second set.
Again, it may not feel like it, sat in the shelter of the stands, but out there in the more exposed areas in the centre of the arena.
Currently in 6th place, it's Jakar who leads, pushing Maximo de Jesus back into the silver medal position, but Maximo de Jesus of Mexico still has his final 3 throws to take. But he will have to be, by my calculations, somewhere near his lifetime best of 21.06 to retake the lead, because Jakar leads on 920 points. Maximo de Jesus has 883. In 3rd place, and still to take his final 3 throws, is Alfonso Cunningham of Jamaica on 845 points. It's Meninas of Greece in 4th place.
Adrian just bringing you up to date there with the men's javelin throw, F52 and F53 for seated competitors, which is ongoing. Over on the far side, the top right of the infield, as I look, the infield, as I mentioned earlier, divided for these field events this morning anyway into 4 sections in each corner of the infield. And as we look from my position on the home straight here, the top right corner, just next to the vertical poles of the discus cage, which is not in use in this morning session. The poles still stand vertical, but the netting has been taken down to make sure everybody has a clear view. As the throw is taken now by the athlete in 6th place, that's Aleš Kiši of the Czech Republic. He's already thrown a season's best of 17 metres and 43, but he currently lies in 6th place. But in the seated javelin, the athletes taking all 3 of their throws together. That's the final throw for Aleš Kiši, and it's 16 metres 84, so no improvement. He won't finish any higher than 6th place in the javelin, Aleš Kiši of the Czech Republic. 690 points for him. A few empty seats starting to appear around the some parts of the bowl. Quite a few on the lower tier, just on the bend at about 150 metres to go point on the track. So people will start to head off and get some lunch, get some shade possibly, because that area of the stadium has been in sunshine for the whole couple of hours of the morning session so far. If you are leaving us at any point in the near future, I do hope you've enjoyed the accompaniment from the audio description service here in the Olympic Stadium this morning. We have a fantastic day elsewhere in the Olympic Park, as our next competitor in the long jump takes to the runway now. That is competitor in 8th place, Martin Parejo Maza of Spain, who is the first jumper in the 5th round, so the penultimate round of the men's visually impaired long jump F11. Athletes just coming out to prepare on the far side, meanwhile just getting themselves ready for the second of the 3 semi-finals in the men's 200-metre T11, and right on cue, we're about to be introduced to those now.
And we are with the second semi-final, or the second heat, in round 2 of the men's 200, and there in lane 5, representing Brazil, the world silver medalist in New Zealand last year, Daniel Silva. And Mukunda of France in 1, Shang Long of China in 3, silver in 5, is Naga of Cuba in 7.
On your mark.
Then, the 4 competitors
across the line, certain of qualification, and those 3 will be joined by the next fastest from across these 3 heats in round 2 of the men's 200 metres.
So Gautier Mukunda of France in lane 1, Shang of China in 3, Silva of Brazil, world ranked number 1, the world 200-metre silver medalist in 5, and Ariane Iznaga of Cuba, the bronze medalist from Beijing, in lane 7, all running with guides, all running blindfolded in this men's 200-metre T11. Only the first runner in each heat automatically through, plus the one fastest loser. The athletes not quite in position, the other 3 and their guides all crouched down with their arms resting on the track. This side in the ready position. They'll come under starters' orders. Away to go. There's a full start on the far side now then. Now this is bad news for somebody, because a full start, it looks like, is Iznaga.
Competitors stopped when they heard the recall gun. We had a situation.
Looking at the reaction times, Iznaga on the scoreboard hasn't come up with a reaction time. Mukunda showing 9/10 of a second of reaction time. Just having a little look at the television replay here to see who it was who the guilty party on this full start. It's hard to tell from the TV pictures I'm looking at, because one of the athletes is out of shot, so it might be that Iznaga on the outside is the guilty athlete here. If either the guide runner or the runner full starts, and they are disqualified. It's one strike and you're out, I'm afraid, under International Paralympic Committee rules. Just waiting to see on the far side who exactly has been disqualified. And I can see an empty set of blocks in lane number 7 now, so it is Ariane Iznaga, the Beijing bronze medalist. Looks like he has been disqualified here. Looking at his reaction, he's not very happy about it, and he's been shown the red card by the officials, and they're being ushered off the track now. That is a real shame. So no repeat Paralympic medal performance for Iznaga, who's actually is protesting. Actually, he's not happy. His guide is now trying to usher him off the track. He's throwing his arms out. He's shouting out in disappointment. He's absolutely furious. Ariane Iznaga is stamping up and down. It's an angry reaction from the runner who has been disqualified. Not sure whether his protests are necessarily at the officials. I think it's merely out of the frustration of a full start. Haven't seen too many full starts in this Paralympic Games so far. Once again, they're showing on the big screen a replay of the start. The problem with the replay they're showing is that it's only got the 3 athletes closest to the inside in the camera shot, so we can't actually see the full start because Iznaga on the outside was out of the camera shot. So it's a pretty pointless replay they're showing on the big screen just at the moment, in terms of trying to ascertain who was at fault. But the officials were there, and the reaction times that displayed on the scoreboard certainly show that Iznaga, not registering a reaction time, was out of the blocks too quickly after the gun, and eventually now he has been escorted off the track area. It's taken all this time to reset the start, and eventually he's been persuaded by his guide Yacine Perez Gomez of Cuba that the best course of action would be to leave the track. He's decided not to leave the arena completely. He's now sat down on the surface next to the long jump pit, but they've now persuaded him again that that isn't the best idea he's ever had, and he's now eventually being ushered off down the tunnel on the far side, and he'll take his frustration out behind closed doors. So only 3 remain. A dramatic first attempt at a start anyway in this men's 200 T11 for visually impaired athletes. Now it's just Mukunda in lane 1, Shang of China in 3, and Silva, ranked number 1 of Brazil, in lane number 5, each running with their guide runner alongside them. Only the winner qualifies for the final, which is later on tonight. No problem with the start this time. They're away at the second time of asking. In fact, there are only 2 competitors remaining now. Seems to have been a double disqualification. Mukunda is out as well as they come into the home straight, and it's Silva of Brazil who just needs to ease up halfway down the home straight, which he's doing now. So Silva and Shang are the 2 that remain. Silva will be the 1 automatic qualifier in 22.84. which is a personal best for him, the first time he's got under 23 seconds, the world ranked number 1. Shang of China is through in 2nd place. So I have to say apologies for missing the full start of Mukunda. That hadn't caught my eye because the camera was focusing on the histrionics of Iznaga of Cuba. And with this event starting right over on the far side, There's a sea of quaddies and all sorts of scoreboards and other things in the way over there. I hadn't noticed that the athlete on the inside had also been disqualified, Gautier Makunda. But of those who did manage to start successfully, Silva of Brazil qualifies in a new personal best, and it's an Asian record for Shang Baolong of China, finishing in second, 23.22. Makunda confirmed as with a DQ next to his name on the scoreboard for disqualified, along with Isnaga as well. In the long jump competition, we're into our third jumper in the fifth round. That's Firas Bentria of Algeria, with a best of 5 meters 83, which is an African record so far. He's looking to improve on that to try and get up from his sixth position. He's got what? He's got 30 centimeters there or thereabouts to try and make up if he is to challenge the medal positions in the men's visually impaired long jump.
Current situation in the long jump being displayed on the scoreboard. Hadashev took over the lead from Li Duan and Gillette.
On the far side again, emerging from that tunnel in the top left corner of the stadium as I look, just underneath the purple London 2012 Paralympics livery, which adorns all around this stadium. There's the equivalent of advertising boards naming some of the top sponsors of this Paralympic Games. Lots of well-known flagship companies based in Britain, known around the world, the likes of BT, British Airways, BP, Adidas, Atos, Panasonic and Sainsbury's. A big thanks to all of those, of course, for their valuable support for the Paralympic Games here in London 2012, and all recognised on the advertising hoardings running alongside the inside lane of the track in the home straight, alongside the purple branding of the London 2012 with white lettering, slanting ever so slightly just to an angle to the right. As our next jumper in the long jump pit, Xavier Porras of Spain, looks to improve on his jump of 6 meters in the previous round. The Algerian Bentria jumped 5.50, by the way, which was no improvement in his last jump.
Living a precarious life there because the long jumpers are coming steaming in down the runway and they're just having to jump out of the way at the last minute. The next to go will be Andrei Koptev, just lying outside of a medal position at the moment. 6.08 his best effort.
So we do have still 3 more track events to go in this morning session. We have the final semi-final at the men's 200 metres T11. They describe the semi-finals because it's the round before the final. Basically, they describe the semi-finals when there are 3 rounds: heat, semi-final followed by final. Some events don't have a semi-finals, they go straight from heats to final, depending on the number of competitors involved. And some events, including all of the field events, by the way, in the Paralympic Games, are straight finals. There's no qualification procedure. That is why the field, in some cases when it's a bit large, over 8 competitors, gets reduced down for the final 3 throws. Otherwise it would pretty much take us all night to get through, for example, 21 competitors all taking 6 throws each. We would be here until the early hours of tomorrow getting that all done. That is why the competitors are grouped together all in a final, and sometimes with classifications all grouped together. But we have the final heat of the men's 200 metres T11 to come, and then we have 2 heats as well on the men's 800 metre T53 classification, which is for wheelchair racers. And again, we'll see some of the names we've seen and heard about many times over the course of this Paralympic Games already, taking part in that.
Reaction from the crowd there.
And that is due off in about 15 minutes time, but we're getting very close to the start of our final semi-final in the men's 200 metre T11.
Good jumping by Andrei
Just away to my left, there's a photographer who's got his long lens trained on 2 spectators sat in the back of the spectator areas. I presume it's somebody relatively well known, although I'm afraid there's a big bank of placards and concrete behind me, so they're out of my view. I can't enlighten you as to who he may be photographing, but he's been there for a good 5 minutes now, stood with his black rucksack on just to my left. His long camera standing on a black pole. There's a few more people head out for their lunch outside the stadium. And again, from me, Chris Temple, if you are heading out of the stadium to enjoy the rest of your day in Olympic Park, thanks for being with us on this audio description service. If you are staying with us, then that would be magnificent. I reckon we've got about another 40 minutes or so of activity, including three victory ceremonies, by the way. The women's shot put result from earlier on, the men's high jump, which was a captivating contest last night for single leg amputees. Remarkable heights of around 1.75 m they were jumping. Real epitome of the level of these elite athletes in the Paralympic Games was that men's high jump for single leg amputees last night, and the men's long jump, which we are currently in progress with on the far side. That will be our final victory ceremony of this morning session. There's been a change in the positions in the long jump from that very last jump. I can tell you Andrei Koptev of Russia with 6.29 m, a new personal best by a good 30 centimetres, has got himself into the bronze medal position and has knocked Lex Gillette, the world record holder, down into 4th. But Lex Gillette still has 2 more jumps remaining, and he's on the runway right now. He's been in and out of the medal. He was the early leader, and now he finds himself 4th with just 2 jumps to go, as Koptev of Russia jumps into the top 3. Duan of China second, Kadyshev of Ukraine first. But it's Lex Gillette. His full name is Alexis, spelt with an E. Alexis Gillette, known as Lex. He's on the runway now. On the far side, his guide out of the way right at the last minute, and the crowd like that one, soaring through the air on the far side. Lex Gillette, and we'll wait for the distance of that one as soon as we get it, as the athletes are introduced for our final semi-final, the 200.
And in lane 3, please would you welcome, representing Brazil, the world champion, the defending Paralympic champion, Lucas Prado.
Lucas Prado is the world champion and the reigning Paralympic champion at the 100, the 200 and the 400 metres. He goes in lane 3 alongside his guide Justino Barbosa dos Santos. On the inside, Firmino Baptista of Portugal in lane 1. Prado in 3 for Brazil. Lane 5, Ananias Shikongo of Namibia. And on the outside from Angola, the silver medalist from Beijing and for the World Championships, Jose Armando of Angola. 4 athletes line up for this, the final semi-final of the men's 200 metre T11. Only the first in each heat, remember, and the next fastest. 6 metres 34 for Lex Gillette, by the way, in the long jump. That's taken him back up to second place.
By Lex Gillette of the USA, 6 metres 34. The American has moved into second place.
The athletes settle down. Only the winner and the fastest loser will go through to the final. Fastest loser time to aim for is 23.22, set by Shang Baolong of China. Second heat. Silva and Gomez of Brazil already through. Prado, you would expect to join them. Again, we could have 3 out of the 4 finalists all coming from Brazil. The athletes are in the same position, and they're away. And again, no false starts in this one, and Prado gets a good start in lane number 3, as you would expect, and he's already up on Shikongo, just on his outside as they come round and unwinded to the home straight now. On the outside, Armando of Angola is going well, but Lucas Prado now coming under pressure from Armando of Angola, and Armando of Angola is going to take this one. Lucas Prado not able to find anything in the closing metres. In 3rd position was Shikongo of Namibia, with Baptista of Portugal in 4th. 22.85 is the winning time. That's a first time under 23 seconds for Jose Armando, rounded down to 22.84. He qualifies with a personal best as the automatic qualifier. Now, has Lucas Prado done enough? Yes, he has. He is through as the fastest loser in 22.92. 3 Brazilians will be in the final. Prado, Silva and Gomez, along with Armando of Angola, and that final is this evening. No time to waste. Back we go to the long jump. On the board, a foul jump, unfortunately, for Li Duan,
Li Duan of China to be taking his 5th round jump, but that was not the case, so perhaps the Chinese champion has passed. That was Ruslan Kadyshev.
Yes, just a bit of confusion there, because on the scoreboard it was showing Li Duan of China, who in the order of the competitors should have been jumping next, but actually it was Ruslan Kadyshev of the Ukraine who took his jump instead, and he fouled there. So He has only one jump remaining, so the lead going into the final round of the long jump, it would appear,
200-metre final.
will be Kavishev in the lead, 6:46, Gillette of the USA, 6:34 in second, and Li Duan of China, 6:31 in third. Just 15 centimetres separating the top three in the men's visually impaired
from across
long jump.
Three heats. That's why he has a little queue.
So it's
next
going to
to
be
his
a
name.
thrilling final round on the far side of the stadium. Two more heats to go on the track in the men's 800-metre T53 classification, and the wheelchair racers are just coming out of the tunnel just down away to my right-hand side, and they will go through their warm-up laps very shortly indeed. No British interest in those. Of course, yesterday, a magnificent performance
That was a final
in the men's
jump
100-metre wheelchair category from Nicky Bushell to take a gold medal for Great Britain. His racing is not done, because Nicky Bushell is also going in the 200-metre T53 category as well, looking to make it a double gold. He's a 22-year-old from Telford who counted David Weir as his inspiration. Remember, it should be another magical night here in the stadium this evening. David Weir going for his second gold, defending his title in the men's 1500-metre T54. Reading some quotes from him in the newspaper this morning, saying he had only 3 hours sleep before he came out yesterday morning for the qualification rounds of the 1500 metres. And if he goes through a golden evening again this evening, he'll be back out tomorrow morning for the 800-metre heat. So a relentless programme for David Weir, who is also entered in the marathon on Sunday.
A point score of 985. Jamaica's Alfonso Cunningham has moved into the gold medal position.
The confirmation there, apologies, I was talking over the start of Adrian's announcement there, but a change of the leadership in the men's javelin, F52, F53. Jamaica's Alfonso Cunningham has gone into the lead with national record of 21.84 metres, 985 points. He is the leader. He's replaced the Iranian athlete Abdulreza Jokar, who has completed his 6 throws. So, looking at the competitors who still have to throw, who are currently ranked 4th and 8th, have 3 throws each, remember, in the seated javelin. They take all 3 throws together. If I was a betting man, I would bet that throw from Alfonso Cunningham in the 5th round has probably won him the gold medal, because the 2 athletes below him are well below his standard in terms of the throws they've completed so far, and there are only 2 athletes left to take their throws. So it looks like it could be gold for Jamaica in the men's javelin F52 and F53. We haven't been on the podium for a while. We're back there now for our next victory ceremony.
The women's shot F37. The medals will be presented by Mr. Dato Zainal Abuzarin, governing board member of the International Olympic Committee, who is accompanied by Mr. David Tyler, Chairman, James Sainsbury PLC.
Smiles and nods to my dignitaries as they're introduced on the big screen.
The Czech Republic, Eva Bernard.
So this is the medal presentation for the shot put event that we saw take place earlier this morning. Eva Bernard, with a European record for the Czech Republic, takes the bronze medal. The 2 athletes alongside her stood at the back of the podium, standing matching red and white tracksuits, as the gold and silver both go to the dominant force in Paralympic sports, the People's Republic of China. It's our hosts, who I would imagine must be pretty hot in their, I would say they're almost a plum-coloured uniform, very smart trousers and jacket with a white shirt underneath, holding out white trays directly in front of them with the flower posies and the medals on.
Representing the People's Republic of China, Xu Xiaoping.
Xu Qiuping of China receives the silver medal, beaten by her compatriot. They were both the bronze and silver medalists, separated by only 4 centimetres. 11 metres exactly took the bronze, 11.04 took the silver, but way clear with a throw of 12 metres 20. A brand new world record, improving her own mark, was our Paralympic champion.
Paralympic champion, representing the People's Republic of China, Na Mi.
All three of our hosts stand with their empty white trays because the medals have been adorned of the athletes. They hold their flowers and now they return to their right. The flags are in position at the bottom of the flagpoles. Our volunteers from the armed forces, service personnel, will raise the flags
for the national anthem
as we prepare for the
of the People's Republic of China.
A memorable moment for both the 2 Chinese athletes on top of the podium, Na Mi and Chu Chuping of China. And they join with Ava Berner, the new European record holder, and now Paralympic bronze medalist for the Czech Republic. So the photograph complete as they stand together on the top of the podium, just down to my left-hand side. Our dignitaries are ushered off by our hostesses, who are wearing purple dresses, some of them with red sashes hanging down alongside them, as they encourage our medalists to make their way down the tunnel and underneath the stadium. A handshake between the 3 medalists in the women's shot put F37 for athletes with cerebral palsy. Wheelchair athletes just preparing for our first semi-final in the men's 800-metre T53. They've just completed their warm-up laps and they're being signalled back to the start by the officials. But in the long jump, meanwhile, it's Firas Bentria of Algeria who's just taken his final jump, currently lying in 6th position. So we're really getting to the business end now of this men's long jump, F11 for visually impaired competitors. 1, 2, 3 is still Kadyshev of the Ukraine, Gillette of the USA and Duan Li of China. But still within reach of the medals, Andrei Koptev of Russia, who's only 5 centimetres behind the bronze position in 4th. You would feel now the medals are out of the reach of our next jumper, which will be Xavier Porras of Spain, who's jumped 6 metres, but his personal best is a good 15 centimetres short of what would be required to get himself in the medals. The applause just to my left is for the medalists who have been waving to the crowd and having a few photos taken and have now disappeared from our view underneath
for
the concourse.
Bentria's distance to come up. Here it comes, 5:69. His best remains 5:83. He finishes in 6th place.
Confirmation, Bentria of Algeria, 5:69, 6th place finish for him. And Xavier Porras of Spain with 6 metres exactly. So he needs an improvement of 32 centimetres in this final jump if he's to get himself into the medals. It appear to be a little bit too far, but you never know sometimes when the going gets tough whether you can pull something out. Spectator stands up just in front of me and waves a Spanish flag. Maybe able to hear the shouting and the clapping. Guide on the far side as Porras sets off on his run now. Down the runway he goes. Legs and arms pumping. Takes off. Oh, it's quite a big one. He's pretty pleased with that, I think. Whether it's going to get into the medals, I think it might be an improvement on his 6 meters so far. He certainly generated plenty of height. Gets a white flag, which is all important. He hit the board probably about 3/4 the way along. Hard to tell whether that will be an improvement on 6 meters, but certainly he seemed pretty pleased with it. And so did his guide as well. A round of applause from his guide as he lands in the pit. Take a slow motion view of him there with sand spraying everywhere as he hit the pit. And we'll wait for that distance to come up. We'll keep a very close watch on this men's long jump in these closing jumps, because the medals could go any which of 3 or 4 ways. Xavier Porras is trying to make that 5 ways if he can get himself. I don't think he's done enough to get a medal. He might have improved his jump of 6 meters though. We'll give you that distance as soon as it comes up. Meanwhile, the sting tells you we're back on the track.
For the men's 800 meters,
6 meters and 8 centimeters for Porras. A slight improvement, but no better than 5th for him.
The full lineup on the board for you, strolling through from lanes 2 to 8. And there in lane 5, former Paralympic bronze and silver medalist, representing Japan, Jun Hiromichi.
So the full lineup for this first heat as the selected athletes are introduced to the crowd.
America, the silver medalist from the Games in Beijing, Joshua George.
A twirl of the hand from Joshua George, almost like an actor taking a curtain call, as he sits ready for this first heat. First 3 in each heat qualify. It's Brent Lakatos in Canada in lane 2, who's married to the Paralympics GB long jump silver medalist Steph Reed. Richard Coleman of Australia in 3, Zhao of China in 4, Hiromichi of Japan in 5, Yu of Korea in 6, Joshua George of the USA in 7, and Zach Abbott of the USA in lane 8. 800 metres, 2 laps of the track.
His last jump.
First bend taken in lanes. Silent. The long jumper is Andrei Koptev now, trying to leap himself into the medals. Currently in 4th position. I'm not sure that's going to be far enough for Andrei Koptev. He may well, having been in the medals for a long time, have to settle for 4th place in the long jump as the athletes are called to their marks for this 800 metres T53 first heat for wheelchair races. And away they go. Great start in lane 2 from the Canadian Brent Lakatos, who's already up on Richard Coleman just outside him as they go round this first bend, wheeling away from my position. But Richard Coleman, having been slightly slow away from the start, has now got into his wheeling on the far side, and he is the leader on that far side as across comes Joshua George to take 2nd place as the athletes break from their lanes on the far side. Lakatos settles in 3rd place. The second of the American athlete, Zach Abbott, that looks like in 4th. As they go around the top bend, they're roared on by the crowd, and it is Richard Coleman of Australia who leads them into the home straight, just ahead of Joshua George, with Brent Lakatos of Canada in the black and white. The Korean athlete, Buyong Yu, is making his way up the inside between chairs as well, as they come past the bell. 53.14 after 400 metres. In the long jump, by the way, 5.96 for Andrei Koptev. He will not finish in the medals. The medalists are now known, but in which order we will find out shortly. But here along the back straight, it is still Richard Coleman of Australia looking to get his place in the first 3 from Joshua George of the USA. In 3rd place is Byung-Hoon Yu of Korea, but there are still 5 in contention for these 3 places automatically through to the final as they come round away to my left now and enter the home straight with still the green and yellow of Richard Coleman of Australia, who's a chair and a half length ahead of Yu of China now. Lakatos being caught round the outside now in the home straight. A storming finish. It's Richard Coleman of Australia who wins it. Yu, I think, just about hung on for 2nd. The Korean athlete in 2nd position. We'll confirm that for you on the scoreboard. It was a very close finish with athletes finishing fast. Richard Coleman of Australia confirmed as the winner, 1:41.86. Yu of Korea is second, 1:42.2. A season's best for him as the second automatic qualifier, and the third place did go to Brent Lakatos of Canada, 1:42.22. A personal best for him, a 10th of a second ahead of Joshua George, who will hope to get through as one of the fastest losers. So, over in the long jump pit, the stadium falls silent for Lex Gillette of the USA, currently in second, 6:34, needs to improve by 13 centimetres to have a chance of the gold. 2 jumpers to go after him, Li Duan of China and Kadyshev. His first run-up is aborted after literally 4 or 5 steps. He knew straight away a bit of noise in the stadium had just put him off his stride slightly, so he is reset by his guide back into position.
So just 3 jumps to go in this long jump final. Lex Gillette is the world record holder. So let's make sure he gets absolute perfect conditions. Make his last round jump in. He won the silver medal twice in this final in Paralympic Games, twice in a row, dating back to Athens in 2004. He's currently lying in the silver medal position again. And Kadyshev leads at 6 meters 46. So here we go.
That's the setup by Paul Dickinson. He is once again the stadium full silent. Said he blocks in the lower tier. Most of the spectators around the long jump pit have stayed right to the end. The far side is probably the busiest area of the stadium. It's Lex Gillette. Starts his run now. He needs to jump further than 6:46 to get himself the gold. The crowd are pleased with it. My initial reaction is it probably isn't far enough to deny Kadyshev the gold. Li Duan is still to jump. He's currently below Gillette in third place.
All of these men, but the medals have still not been decided. Lex Gillette of the United States has definitely got a medal. As yet, we don't know if it's going to go.
So we'll keep an eye on the scoreboard on the far side. As Paul Dickinson said, Gillette knows he's got a medal, along with Li Duan and Ruslan Kadyshev of the Ukraine. Which colour will it be? 6:34 is his best so far. Being helped back along the side of the track, waves to the crowd. We'll give him a round of applause for his efforts over on the far side. Whatever colour of medal he does get, he's given them great entertainment. And it's 6:18, so it isn't far enough. It will be not the gold for Lex Gillette. It could still be bronze. He's currently in the silver medal position, but Li Duan could knock him back to the bronze with his
Lex Gillette
final jump.
In second place for the time being, but we still have 2 athletes to go. The next one, Li Duan of China, was leading for a long time, but that was subsequently beaten by Kadyshev of the Ukraine.
So it was Li Duan himself who was just urging the crowd on himself there to applaud, to show them exactly what he wants them to do as he takes his way on the runway. He discards his tracksuit top, his red and yellow Chinese tracksuit top, and hands it to an official. He has a black blindfold on, and now he puts his finger to his lips as if to say quiet to everybody, and then he theatrically whips off his yellow tracksuit bottoms. What a showman Li Duan is of China. I thought he was going to jump in them, and then he just pulled them off almost Superman style and tossed them to one side. His guide crouches down on the board. Begins the clapping rhythm as Li Duan tries to improve on his current bronze medal position, and he's soaring through, and that is a massive jump, and that could, oh, it's a red flag. What a shame. That could possibly have challenged the gold medal position. It's a red flag for Li Duan. He will get the bronze. Lex Gillette will take the silver, and it means that the Ukrainian athlete Ruslan Kadyshev, even before his last jump, is the champion.
Li Duan gets the bronze medal. Lex Gillette of the USA wins the silver, but the champion in 2012 is Ruslan Kadyshev of the Ukraine.
Well, again, a real shame for Li Duan. Obviously, such are the rules and the parameters of the long jump that you need to keep your foot on the board and not beyond it. But that was a soaring leap by the Chinese athlete. And again, you always want to know how far that would have been had he not edged over the board by a matter of a few centimetres. So pressure off for Ruslan Kadyshev here, the Ukrainian. He's already set a personal best of 6 metres and 46. What can he produce with his 6th and final jump of this men's F11 long jump? Knows he's got the gold already. Can he pull a pressure-free, outstanding jump out of the bag? Medal ceremony for this long jump, by the way, will follow before the end of this session. The wheelchair racers for our next 800-metre heat are in position as Kadyshev now storms down the runway and heads out towards somewhere towards 6 metres. I'm not sure it's going to be an improvement, but it doesn't matter for Ruslan Kadyshev, who waves to the crowd, bows and spins around, applauds above his head. His yellow singlet with UKR written on the back for Ukraine. It is gold for Ukraine in the men's long jump, F11 for visually impaired competitors. It's been a really thrilling competition over on the far side of the stadium. Credit to all of the athletes involved and their guides, of course, who do such a brilliant job in helping their athletes. But it is gold for Kadyshev of Ukraine, silver to Gillette of the USA, and bronze to China in the shape of Duan Li.
I think they've been absolutely brilliant. You've shown total respect for the athletes, for the guides, and to the officials. Thank you very, very much.
So the choice of music over the PA system, very apt, very well produced. Jump is the sound, makes some noise, pops up in orange lettering on the big scoreboard, which is why the crowd have suddenly burst into voice here as the Ukrainian Kadyshev takes the plaudits down the far side of the stadium. A kiss for his guide, his female guide. She's bowing as well, she's taking her part of the applause. Say, a real team effort between athlete and guide over there. And they walk together, there are hugs and pats on the back all round between all the competitors and the guides underneath the parasol umbrellas on the far side. Back to the track we go.
For the men's 800 metres, T53, the second of the 2 heats, and in lane 6, representing the United States of America, ranked number 3 in the world this year, Brian Seaman.
A clenched fist raised in the air by Brian Seaman of the USA.
And in
this is our final track action, by the way, of this morning session. We do still have 2 victory ceremonies to go. The men's high jump from last night and the men's long jump we've just seen, which is just finished. That victory ceremony is due to take place in this morning session, but that long jump competition running on maybe a little bit longer than anticipated. So maybe that victory ceremony might get delayed till this evening. We'll keep you updated on that. Here's the second heat of the men's 800 for wheelchair racers. Ramirez Valencia of Mexico in 2, Matsunaga of Japan in 3, Fairbank of France in 4, Aguila of Venezuela in 5, Seaman of the USA in 6, the defending champion Lee of China in 7, and Videgra of Spain in lane number 8. 3 go through, plus the 2 fastest losers, and it's the defending champion Hushao Li of China who's making the early running as they round the first bend and break from their lanes on the far side. 7 competitors, 3 will go through as they go halfway along the back straight, and right across comes Li of China, red with yellow flashes on his Chinese kit, who has the lead as they round the bend away to my left-hand side and come into the home straight with 500 metres left to race. So it is the Chinese athlete who leads, from Brian Seaman of the USA, tucked just in behind in a sleeveless racing top. As they go over the start-finish line, the trailing athlete at the moment is Ramirez of Mexico. It's Fairbank of France who's tucked just in behind in 3rd place as well, as they head out on their final lap now, having just taken the bell. They have got 300 metres to go, but all 3 athletes are covered by only about 6 or 7 metres. The whole field, I should say, all 7 athletes. Now the Mexican just being left behind at the back, and it's still the Chinese athlete Li Hushao who leads. On the inside, Fairbank of France. And a real struggle on here as they come into the home straight. And 5 athletes in contention for the 3 qualification places. It has been the long-time leader and defending champion Li of China, who is expected to take the win here and will do. Brian Seaman of the USA finishing very strongly. He just about gets second. There's an unfortunate crash just over the line, literally as they came to the finish line. So we'll confirm the result for you. The athlete who has crashed out of his wheelchair, by the way, sitting up on the track and seems okay. His chair lying on its side at the moment, with a wheel spinning.
3 or 4 meters off the
crash literally happened right on the line. Li of China qualifies as the winner. Brian Seaman of the USA did get up to take the second place, and it was Fairbank of France who took third, and the applause is for the athlete who has crashed over the line, because he's just picked his own wheelchair up and raised it above his head and is now helping himself back into his chair. It's a nasty looking crash on the inside. I think it's Fairbank of France actually who was the athlete who did crash over the line, but remarkably has still managed to finish in 3rd position. I'm just getting the benefit of a replay on the big screen as we come up towards the line, and indeed it was Fairbank of France who was the one who toppled out of his chair, pretty sure, on the finish line. But he's okay. That's the important news, that he's now wheeling himself away and down the tunnel to our right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've had our last track event of the morning. We hope you've enjoyed the session. If you've enjoyed the F11 long jump, the long jumpers just leaving the arena, their medal ceremony will be held in this morning's session. So we'd love you to stay behind for that. The medal ceremony will take place in about 10 to 15 minutes time. We've got another couple of things to do first, but please stay with us to salute the best long jumpers in the world.
So confirmation that long jump victory ceremony will take place in around about 10 minutes time. So spectators being urged to stay and show their appreciation for that magnificent long jump competition. But before that, we have the men's high jump F42 victory ceremony, which was held last night.
The victory ceremony for the men's high jump F42. The medals will be presented by His Royal Highness Crown Prince Frederick of Denmark, member of the International Olympic Committee, who is accompanied by Councillor Chris Robbins, leader of Waltham Forest.
We have royalty presenting the medals. Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Frederick of Denmark, who stands in sand-coloured trousers and smart navy blue jacket. Lukas Mamczarch of Poland is the bronze medalist in the men's high jump. This competition, remember, for single leg amputees. You may have caught some of it, the headlines of some of it, you may have heard about it. Sensational competition yesterday with the jumpers clearing heights of around about 1.75 m, there or thereabouts. Taking off one leg, so the propulsion literally only from one leg. And a remarkable feat for these elite athletes.
Representing India, Girish Pasangara Rajagowda.
A silver medal for India in the high jump. Nagara Jagawa of India receives his silver medal from His Royal Highness Crown Prince Frederick of Denmark. And a handshake of the flowers from Chris Robbins, the leader of Waltham Forest Council, a local council here in the east of London.
Boys and girls, the gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing Fiji, Ilyesa Delana.
Ilyesa Delana takes the gold for Fiji with the use of 2 underarm crutches. He walks his way forward to receive his medal from the Crown Prince of Denmark. Iliesa Delana of Fiji is the Paralympic champion for the men's high jump F42. I'm pretty sure that was Fiji's first medal of this Paralympic athletics program. Indeed, just confirmation was their only medal so far.
Please stand.
Is the anthem
of Fiji.
Popular winner inside the Olympic Stadium, Iliesa Delana of Fiji, the gold medalist in the men's F42 high jump for leg amputees. So Great Britain currently third in the medal table after Mickey Bushell's gold last night in the T53 100 metres. 5 gold for Great Britain so far, 3 silver and 4 bronze. China with 35 medals in total, unsurprisingly top the Paralympic athletic medal standings. 12 gold, 12 silver and 11 bronze. Russia in second place in the medal table, 9 gold, 5 silver and no bronze as yet. And Ukraine, who are another country who've invested pretty heavily in Paralympic athletics, Paralympic sport over the last 4 years in preparation for London 2012. They are currently 4th in the medal table with 4 gold, 4 silver and 3 bronze, ahead of the United States.
Long jump competition, and it would be wonderful if you would stay and greet those medalists in just a few minutes' time. So Cunningham in the gold medal position. Bukhar of the Islamic Republic of Iran in the silver medal position. And Maximo of Mexico in the bronze medal position.
So just to confirm the 1, 2, 3 in the men's javelin throw, F52 and F53, which has just appeared on the scoreboard here, as I mentioned earlier on. The throw of Alfonso Cunningham of Jamaica was enough to take the gold medal in the men's javelin throw. Cunningham of Jamaica the gold. Jokar of Iran took the silver, and Maximo de Jesus of Mexico, the bronze medalist in the men's javelin throw.
And on the second page, the 2 other automatic qualifiers.
And we can, just as our final action on the track, confirm the qualifiers for
when we did this at the Olympics,
men's 800 metre T53 final, which has just been run over the course of the last couple of heats. Richard Coleman of Australia, Byung-Hun Yu of Korea, Brent Lakatos of Canada and Li Hu Xiao of China are the 4 automatic qualifiers. And the 2 fastest losers, Joshua George of the USA, Jun Hiroshimini of Japan, and also qualifying Brian Seaman of the USA and Pierre Fairbank of France. Those are the 8 qualifiers for the men's 800 metre T53 final, which is tomorrow evening.
If we catch anybody not smiling, we're going to keep you here until 6 o'clock.
Yep, got that. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to the Paralympics, thanks to everyone. Thanks, Jamaica.
So, quite a few spectators heading for the exits at the moment with our track athletics and field events complete for the morning session, but we do have the men's long jump victory ceremony to take place in a few minutes' time. So if you are still in the stadium, do please hang around and show your appreciation to those magnificent long jumpers and their guides in the F11 visually impaired category, the most severe of the visually impairment classifications. At the moment, the